Testing 1, 2. 100. We in here? Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
we live, motherfuckers.
Can you hear?
Yeah, I can hear it.
All right. Yep. We in here.
We in
It's your
here.
homeboy DJ Jake Type.
It's your boy Rob.
This is what we know.
What we know.
We're back in here.
We back in here late as hell,
A late show.
but we made it happen.
Yeah, I said, I guess we had to go ahead and just do one in, man.
Yeah, we got man. Episode 15.
Episode 15. That's right. I didn't even put that on there. Episode 15. This right here is a pretty much Kevin Samuels. We're gonna be talking about Kevin Samuels.
Yeah, man. R.I.P. man.
Yep, and the impact that he did have on the social media world and people that's in the social media world and other YouTubers and commentators. And that's one of the things that we want to be able to talk about. We were supposed to be talking about something else, but with this
we had to talk about
untimely death of one of social media's I guess I don't know what you call him. He's probably one of the biggest influencer.
Yeah, this past year.
Yeah, and it's only been like a year that he was actually
popping.
Yeah,
he been doing YouTube for a minute, but this past year is really went up to another level.
Yeah. Found his niche. That was basically what it was. Niche. He found his niche. He did what he had to do, and he put in some hard work. And although there was people that disagreed, some people were in agreement with what he was putting out. But one of the things is, whether you agree with him or not, you know that he had put in some content that was pretty much well viewed.
Yeah, man.
It was well viewed.
He told his truth, man. And a lot of the shit he said was truth. So, I mean,
where y'all get that his truth shit from, man? You either tell the truth or you don't.
Yeah,
that opens up the doors for niggas to lie and call it their truth. Nah, it's one.
Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah,
it's one truth.
There's one truth.
That's it. He was just saying, if you actually followed him, if you actually looked at some of his content, you will understand that pretty much what he was doing was giving a point of view from a small minority of men.
Yeah.
For the most part. And then he also gave a point of view for men in general. So, it's a lot of people that, specifically a lot of women that celebrated this man's passing. It's really weird to even have to, and that's one of the things I want to just go ahead and get out of the way, because I don't want to put all my energy into that shit.
Yeah,
but we do have to be able to speak about how this world has started to become, especially when it comes down to the black folks in America. I think we're at our lowest right now. This is about as low as we ever been in general as black people. And it's not just, I'm not just talking about, this thing with Kevin Samuels. It's just the thing with how we even look at each other. We don't like each other. And until we have a consensus as people to be able to express that with one another, man, it's just gonna go further and further down the drain.
Yep, same. It's gonna be the same shit.
But
generation to generation.
But even when you speaking on just let's talk about when Kevin first came in to this realm of social media, specifically YouTube. I don't know if he was really dealing with IG like that, But from what I seen, when because I didn't know, to tell you the honest to God truth, I didn't know um, who Kevin Samuels was until maybe the viral that first viral um, video he had with the young lady that came
Mhm.
on his show and was talking about what it was that she wanted, what type of man that she wanted, and that video itself, man, that video itself has so much misunderstanding because so many people seen just the clip. And the
Yeah.
craziest thing was that there was always a link that you can hit so you can see the full
Full clip.
interview.
Yeah.
And anyway, it just got to the point where that heated up a lot of people, women and men. It made so much noise where it even was on mainstream TV. You had The View. You had what was the other one? Not The Talk.
The
The
real.
Real.
Yeah, that shit. Man.
You had even on TMZ. You know, once they start catching that TMZ's eyes, then at some point, I guess you made it. I guess you made it if you up under there, even though it's junk food news to me.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of that stuff is. It's just, but I mean, news is news, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's so when that happened with the young lady, I I think myself, I could tell you, I wasn't surprised. It didn't really raise an eyebrow. I was just going past you know, what was being shown on Facebook because a lot of times it was really shown on Facebook and IG. But I was just going back past it. I was just going past it because that was not something that was new to me. The new thing to me now, what was new to me was like 10 years before that time when you had Tommy Sotomayor. That was something new.
Yeah.
However, it was only new because you didn't have a black man that spoke the way that he spoke, and he had so much. People thought he had a lot of hate, but he didn't. And the reason why I brought out Tommy Sotomayor is for the simple fact that uh, one of the reasons that Kevin Samuel was who he was because of Tommy Sotomayor. There was a lot of stuff he has taken and borrowed from Tommy, and he made it his own. However, um, it really wasn't a fallout because he never did respond back to Tommy. But Tommy had made some videos that was telling him, "Man, stop, using my stuff
Yeah.
and not giving." It wasn't the fact that he was using it; it was the fact that he was using it and he refused to give a man
Yeah. His
his
props.
his props.
Yeah, because I remember when I used to, I told you, I hit you up one time, like, hey man, you seen this dude Kevin, bro? He out here speaking some real game. And you was like, man, oh, yeah, he cool, but that ain't his
I ain't,
shit.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's not, and it was just that's where specifically myself, I was
Yeah,
like, all right, I'm not gonna look at him as this man is out here just, coming up with the truth and he coming as the Godfather and all this. And that's where I
yeah.
had a problem with how people seen him.
Okay.
But I also seen him as a man that actually he was one of the ones that was picking the shit up, picking the torch up, and he
Yeah,
actually was doing something to help people. He wasn't doing anything to harm people. I just didn't like the fact personally that he did not shoot out where he got that from.
yeah,
And that was one of my biggest issues. But I never had a major issue with Kevin Samuels. I never was a person that I'm not a follower of anybody. I look at I looked at a lot of his content, man, because you can really you can really get a nice little census of certain things because when he spoke to women in real time, you actually got a chance to see how these women actually respond to him.
Mm-hmm.
And that was in real time. So instead of just looking at things, getting ready to be triggered or be emotional, I used to just look at them with an open mind. And a lot of times I used to have to look at his content just like I look at Fresh and Fit's content, just like I look at Tommy's content. I have to look at it kind of like by myself. I actually have to be, in a space where I'm receiving not only the information that they're giving me, but I'm also looking at how these dudes is being successful at conducting a show. And
Yeah.
one of the things I can say about Kevin Samuels is that the man strived to be as professional as possible. It was a dope thing to see him
In a suit.
dressed up with his suit on, and he made it his.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I mean, I ain't gonna beat a dead horse. My problem with him was just that I don't have a personal problem with him. Now Tommy did,
Yeah.
but that was the only thing that Tommy had a personal problem with him.
Yeah.
And that was it. He never had any other problems. And so when you have guys that were followers of Kevin Samuel, he did not trust his followers, just like anybody. Because especially when you see that a lot of these people have no common sense, you will see them go on other people's platform and they would try to fight for another person. Remember that?
Yeah.
Protect
Yeah.
Kevin Samuels at all costs.
That was
That's the
one
dumbest shit in the world. And
one
he didn't like that shit either.
Yeah.
That's why he never spoke to those folks. I pretty much like I'm kind of like when it comes down to a lot of these guys, I really look at their shit. I really look at their shit because it gives me an insight of what they are as far as just being content creators. I don't know them personally. And some shit I take with me and some shit, I don't.
Yeah.
But, me and you have talked about Kevin Samuels a lot when it comes down to, if I think what he's saying is the truth and all that shit. It is, but I just never was phased.
Yeah.
It was just dope for him to get it out because some people just never got that type of content. And once they sat down and instead of looking at the clips and they sat down and watched the actual video, like if anybody ever seen a Kevin Samuels video, it goes the same way. He gets on, he talks, small talk, monologue. By the way, he took that from Tommy Sotomayor. After he does his monologue, then he goes into whatever topic he's going to talk about.
Yeah.
He does that, and then after he does that, he goes into another segment where he starts to talk to the women. He never talked to the men on those type of shows. Now, he did have shows where he did have men where he talked, but no. And it was kind of dope how he did it because he's like, no, I'm going to speak for the men.
Yeah.
And at first I was like, no, you should have men on there speaking too. But I said, no, that's not how his show, because it's a show.
It's a show, yeah.
So he has to have some type of great content. So once he get that, that's where he had the females dancing. He had this one little dope song from, I don't know who did it, but he'd have a female dancing and stuff like that. That means he's going to that segment. Then he starts, because he's setting up his IG or Zoom or Yard streams or whatever. And then once he gets set up, he introduced, what, and he wants people to know, he wants the women to call in and just stick to the point from what he was talking about. And when they call in, he asked them all the same questions. What type of man you looking for? How should he be? How much money should he make? Same thing the Fresh and Fit do. They tell him. Then he goes into, well, how old are you?
Yeah.
Do you have kids?
What you rate yourself?
Well, before he get to that, he stopped doing. Remember, he stopped rating. He stopped doing that. They started asking him to rate them Because he said, no, I don't want to do it no more. Shit is fucked up. No, because you're not understanding the rate part of it.
Yeah.
But they still was doing it. But that was what he was doing before, where he was saying, rate yourself from 1 to 10, and you can't use 7. However, when you use 6, he's going to tell you if it's an adjustable 6 or not. And what he was doing was rating women based off of, he was just rating them based off of the what was it? It's like from image consultant standpoint. And it's based off of what you asked, what you wanted. You want a man 6-figure. You want a man that looks good. You want a man that have, all these different qualities. Then he'll say, well, who are you? How do you think you're going to get these men? How old are you? Mm-hmm. And so once I'm 35, too old. He ain't saying you too old for him. He's saying that you're too old for
them.
For these type of men, specific men.
Yeah, that you want. Yeah.
Right. So that's where it starts to get really sticky, because they ignored that he's saying, no, these specific, you want less than 1% of these men. These men want this. Yeah. And being real, that was where he was telling the truth. What a lot of people conveniently stopped doing was that they stopped actually listening to when he was saying, I talked to the men and I'm way more harder on them than I am on you. And he was. And he was. So when you actually look at what it was that he was doing, he was trying to get people, because he was trying to get people to to create nuclear families again.
Yeah.
Hey man, we're gonna let's take a pause for the show right quick so we can bring my man Jeff in.
Oh shit.
Yes, sir. The homeboy is in here on the Late Show.
On the Late Show, we got a lot of comments too.
My man Jeff, what's going on, big baby?
Yo, what up, y'all? How y'all doing?
Man, we all right, bro. Good, I'm glad you got on the show, man. We knew it was kind of late. We was out here. We said we was gonna still do it, man. You know how we do, man. We gotta pop one out.
Hell yeah.
We gotta pop 15. A show.
Sure, man. I was doing some things, and I'm like, yo, I gotta come on. You know what I'm saying? And pay homage to the Godfather. Before we continue, right? Since we're paying homage to the Godfather, when I started watching, right, one thing that I definitely benefited of watching him was upgrade my cologne.
Oh yeah.
Godfather, in the beginning of his y'all niggas know what he's wearing. So this is my go-to right here. Dolce & Gabbana. This, guys. This is fire, man.
And that's that real shit.
Hey, I gotta find that, man. Hey, you gonna have to text that to me, man, so I can.
This is I'm telling you, this right here. Mm-hmm. And whenever I go out, people always say, "Oh, like we gonna be smelling real good." And every day, cologne that I use, Usher. Yeah, I use Usher.
Man.
Smooth, nice. Not too crazy, but when I'm going out, to a nice event or a wedding or something like that, Dolce & Gabbana, man. I got that from the Godfather. So yeah, man. So yeah, we're paying homage, man.
Yes, sir.
Hell yeah,
yes, sir.
Man. Hey, man, y'all want to do like a little moment of silence for my mans?
Facts.
Definitely.
Let's do a moment of silence. Count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Rest in peace. Rest in peace.
For the Godfather, baby.
Rest in peace. So yeah, Jeff. We just really got started. We just really giving a breakdown. Basically how Kevin, when he started, what was his mindset, getting started and things like that. You know what I'm saying? What was your first? You remember the first time you seen Kevin?
Facts. Yeah, first time, actually, my wife sent me a video. She's gonna join later on today, so
okay.
Tonight, she sent me this video, right? And then I think it was an average at best video. And this nigga was giving Shorty like the hardcore truth, right? Which is what she wanted, because that's what she called him. I'm like, yo, who is this guy? Like, like I haven't seen nobody talk to women like that in a stern way and actually giving them the raw truth. Then I'll say about a month later, I'm on YouTube, and then I seen a live stream, and then he was talking to women. What I'm saying? Women that's calling on the show, they wanna this type of man, that type of man. I found it at first. I found it really like entertaining, right? Some of the like Big Shirley stuff and
Yeah.
PhD and all that. I'm like, it's funny. So it's like once you start watching his right, you want to keep watching more of them. So I start going back, and I'm like, this is addictive. It's
Your phone cut out a little bit. I didn't hear what you said. Repeat it.
You went out just a little bit.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So, not only it was entertaining to watch, but at the same time, like I was really getting some good info out of that. So I went even further back, right? And one thing I realized is that, Kevin was talking to dudes at first,
Yes.
right,
Yeah.
and giving them the same hardcore truth.
He was worse on the guys.
He was worse, bro. Yeah.
That's a fact. He was giving them the same truth. You got to make yourself valuable. You got to work hard. You got to work 50 to 60 hours a week. You know what I'm saying? You got to build yourself up. So when it's time for you to have your family, you're able to provide for your family. He talked. It's like he was like a father in a way, man, like your big uncle, right? Like he tells you about your hygiene, keep your place nice, watch the class, all of that. So I'm like, yo, this dude is really interesting, right? So, and then when I kept, going up to like the newer stuff, so honestly, I seen that he transitioned into talking to women, and that's when he was getting the most attention. When he was talking about men and giving men like the hardcore truth, nobody gave a fuck. You know what I'm saying? A lot of dudes, they took that to understand, okay, cool. And this is why you're seeing this movement now with the manosphere and platforms like you guys, the message, right? And y'all trying to put good content out. Bringing our folks together, and we do the same with our podcast. Encouraging people to make families, because honestly, if you ask me, we don't have a community because we don't have families. 80% of the people of the kids that are being born in our, they home.
Yeah.
Why you seeing the type of results you're seeing with these younger generation backward? You know what I'm saying? So, I do think that this thing is only gonna keep going. There's a lot of people that's putting out the same type, content, some in different ways. But at the end of the day, the big goal is to bring people to make families, because we can't keep on going like this, man. And something got to be done.
And to speak on, to piggyback off of what you were saying as far as that, man, that was, before you came on, that was the thing that I was saying, was that he was talking about having people and encouraging people to start rebuilding the nuclear family, making that's the go-to instead of the single stuff. And in order for that to happen, you have to understand that you are in a state of emergency. And that was the way that he was looking at it. Just like and this is what's crazy. One of the things that I'm starting to learn is that death is, and remember we talked about this, and again, shout out to Segaru, the guru.
Mm-hmm.
And he spoke on this. Death and life is synonymous with each other.
Yep. I told you the other day, Jeff.
It's constant. There's no. That's why, like when it showed that they were saying that Kevin Samuels died, I wasn't shocked. I'm starting to be not shocked because it happens. Now the thing is that as a human being, I'd be like, God damn, because that's just what it is. When it's over, it's over.
Oh,
So that's where it's like I'm still not cool with that part right there. But when you actually look at what this man was doing, and when you see it's a lot of other people, he was in his purpose.
Yeah.
I don't care what nobody say. They can say what the fuck they want to say.
Hey,
He was in
Carissa.
his purpose. Hey, lady.
Hey. Happy Mother's Day. All the shit.
Happy Mother's Day. Happy
Happy
Mother's
Mother's
Day.
Day to all the mothers.
To all the women.
Yes.
All the women.
All the good mothers.
All the good mothers. You
Right.
crazy to
Not any other, just not your average mama, just the good mothers.
Happy Mother's Day to that Crawford chick.
Happy birthday to my baby, my wife. Happy Mother's Day.
guys.
It's just y'all's second birthday. So
Yeah. This shit is like Christmas for them.
hell yeah, I can't wait for my second
They
birthday.
shutting everything down tomorrow. Wait till Father's Day comes. Shit, ain't nothing. Matter of fact, if your ass don't work on Sundays, they like all the men take your ass to work Sunday. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Take your ass to work.
Man, we got a lot of comments. People,
why is somebody putting King Von? Come on, man. Whoever you is, bro.
I got some fuck shit. Who cares? He's dead. Not me. Like, y'all niggas gotta stop that.
I mean, this is the thing.
Y'all niggas.
It don't. That's why I was going with saying it. It doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
When you have people, this is where I always look at devilish people. They exist. You have to just expose them so people can observe and know. Don't go that way. Don't be like those people. We don't have to. One of my biggest things, I saw so much stuff on on social media. Like, I don't know if y'all even noticed, man. The day I only said one thing, and they said that Kevin Samuels died when I texted everybody, and I didn't say nothing else after that because it's a day that you got to recharge. Because I'm working, I got a lot of shit going on in my own personal life, and then for something like that, I don't care who it is. When a person dies, it's just a feeling we have as human beings that it's like, damn,
human beings feel sad.
Yeah, when they have a purpose and they're in a purpose and it's something that's doing well and good for other people, that is an impact. Yes, when you have people that's doing terrible to other people, don't nobody really care about them.
Yeah,
But they're already living their hell on, while they're living. When you die, it's a different transition. It's something different. You come here, do your work, and then it's time to get up out of here. I don't look at death as I'm not going to be one of the ones that's going to be there. I'm going to be there too.
Yeah.
Whenever my number is called, I'm going to be there. So in order for me to be okay with it, I just got to live. I got to keep living. Anything that goes on, whatever is fucked up in my life, let me get through that fucked up feeling, work through it, and then so I can move on to the next fucked up thing that's in my life. You know what I'm saying? That's why we have to go on trips. We have to do whatever it is that we love to do to keep us moving and then it gets us motivated to help another person. We do that. If you like to draw, if you like to paint, if you like to do podcasts, whatever it is, it should always be to have other people in mind. Whatever's going to come to you is going to come to you. You never have to ask for something because it's going to come to you. All you got to do is be a person of duty. That's it. Whether you doing rap or you singing, whatever it is, it has to be with other people in mind. And you don't have to know them. They just be other people in mind. When people talk about unconditional love is nowhere near a feeling. It's all duty. There's no conditions to it.
Damn, I ain't think about it like that.
There's no conditions to it. That's when you hear people say, well, you can unconditionally love your child. No, the condition is it's your child. How do you get that? How do you get across that? Normally when people do unconditional and they have unconditional love, they're doing this for somebody that ain't here yet. So when we building a great country, we're trying and striving to build a great country. That's what they call love, because it's duty. Now the other shit where you want to make it seem like you know how the movies is, and you want to emotionalize it and dramatize it. Okay, those are nuances to it. But when you're talking about love, that's why I don't really talk about unconditional love. It's going to always be some conditions with my love. The unconditional love, I'm already doing the shit. Why you think they built roads? They didn't build roads for themselves. The people that first started building roads, they were going through the bullshit, but they built roads. So guess what? People that come later, they can build on top of the roads, and then they build other things because we all are connected. Why you think we have a government? We all are connected. You got to regulate some of this shit.
Yeah.
Why you think we have police? Why you think who came up with this shit? People that were dutiful, that had duties.
Yeah.
They want to make the world a better world, and then they leave. They get the hell on. So when it comes down to something like, I got to be 100. I don't feel bad for Kevin Samuels. He's transitioned. He's a memory to us now, but he's doing other work somewhere else. We don't know what the hell it is.
Yeah.
We'll find out pretty soon.
Right.
We'll find out. So whatever he was, it was crazy because I watched Tommy Sotomayor. Like I said, that was my first inspiration right there, because when you talk about somebody with no chaser, he was that dude. He was like, Tommy is like electricity. It works good for the lights, works good for, to get cars together and all that shit, but you can't be close to them people. And he would tell you, don't get too close, because I don't make friends like that. I don't make real close friends. I probably have one very close friend because I'm on a different mission. And it gets, being in those type of positions, the shit, it makes them, it makes people like that very, what do you call it when you're very sad and
Emotional.
no, but it's a medical terminology for when you are it's when you're you just, damn, we got a lot of people.
Damn, we got a lot of fucking people.
It's when you are
depressed.
Depression.
Thank you, Nina. Oh, that's Nina. Okay.
Thank you. Yes, depression. So it makes people that really care about people depressed.
Yeah.
If you know anything about, let's go with Martin Luther King. He was very depressed. Malcolm X, very depressed.
I could see that.
That's a lot of weight on your shoulders, because the people that you're trying to help are the people that is going to turn against you.
Fact.
That's the ones that's going to kill you.
Yeah. And that's the ones that, yeah.
I don't know too much about the Bible, but I do understand about Moses. I understood that motherfucker was like, I ain't making it to the motherfucking mountaintop.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get y'all there.
Yeah.
And he was sitting there, and he was a rough customer. He was like, no, get your stupid ass up.
Yeah.
He was, no, you can't. There's no time to be sitting here just wilding. No, we need to go. We need to get the hell on. I'm trying to get y'all there, but y'all want to veer to the left. No, damn that. And when everybody got there, what'd he say? I ain't gonna be able to make it with y'all. That's what happened with Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
If you ever noticed that one famous speech that he had, what did he say? I may not make it to the mountaintop with you. I just got to get y'all there. They ain't gonna let me in the pearly gates. I did too much shit. I got a lot of enemies. Same thing that happened if you understand the story of Jesus, the ninth Christ. Same thing. Most of the people that he was fighting for didn't like him. They were the ones that crucified him.
Yeah.
Did you know that Martin Luther King had a less than 35% approval rate from black folks before he died? Malcolm X was even lower.
That's the shit they didn't teach us in school.
So that's why I don't get bent out of shape for a lot of this stuff that happens. So with Kevin Samuels, He knew that. The man was old enough to understand that damn. Everybody liked him when he was just talking, and he didn't have a lot of followers. He had about 2,000, 3,000 followers. And he was just doing, regular commentary on, like you were saying, the smell goods, the type of shoe to wear with the suit. The man was a dapper. You know what I'm saying? That was pretty dope to be able to do that. And he listened to a lot of influencers to get where he was. It took that man years. It's just like with, me and Robert. It's taken me years to get this. I've been wanting to do that. I done had this channel right here. This one channel right here, I done had this one for like 7 years. My other channel, I done had for like 10 years. And I was trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I understand this is not an easy thing to do. So when I seen what was going on, first time I saw Kevin Samuels, and I saw that first video, I swear to God, dog, I didn't pay it no attention. I seen it for a minute, and I was just like, this ain't shit. I didn't think it would have went viral. I just kept seeing it. I'm like, why is it going so damn viral? Because I was so used to that talk already. I was already used to men saying no. And if y'all, I don't know if you guys ever seen the whole interview that he did with that lady, that young lady. And she was, first and foremost, it was, what did she rate herself?
Which one?
She rated herself a 6, the first lady that he had.
Is that the lady that's talking about?
He said you're average at best.
Yeah.
That's the lady. He was like, she's celibate, and he was like, well, you got some nerve at 40 years old.
No, not her. No,
okay.
the very first one, the very first one that went viral.
Oh, that video.
I didn't hear you, Jeff. What'd you say?
No, the average at best video. She said she was a 6.
She said she was a 6. Everybody kept saying he was doing it. He was like, no, I didn't.
Yeah, I remember that.
He did not even want, this is the thing, he did not want to do it. And he was like, listen, I'm not doing ratings tonight. She was like, yeah, but I want you to do it. All right, Dan. Since I told you I didn't want this and you still insist on coming to my show, this is about to be a teachable moment. That's all he was thinking. About to be a teachable moment. Let's go with it.
Let's go with it.
And when that happened, see, I didn't see that part. I had to go see the whole thing. When that happened, you just seen it's like all the air came out of that young lady. Like all the confidence came so far out of her where it was like, damn, really? Yeah. But at the end of their conversation, she was striving to do everything that man said that she had to do. He wasn't being brutal with her. He was just being honest with her. And right now, because of how our society is, man, listen, you can't say shit to nobody. No. Not just women, men too. And we have to get out of that. And he was one of the ones that was like, let's get out of that way we talk. And he didn't speak as a person that was perfect and he already had his shit together. He just spoke of a person that I used to be just like y'all ass.
Says that all the time. You got to do the work.
I'm 50 some years old now.
Do the work. Yeah.
Right. So once he started doing it, then you start having other men. Like, I don't know how y'all feel about the manosphere and all of that shit. I'm not shitting on them. I let them brothers do what they do, but I almost went into that little space over there. Can't do it, man. I like women. I like them enough for me to be able to, in real time, tell women exactly what I want. I'm not about to be talking to a bunch of strange goddamn women about what I want. Too old for that shit now. But I do want to talk to women and men and say, listen, man, we got to start vetting each other.
Yeah. We
got to quit inviting those ain't shit women and men into our space. And that's what's happening. That's why when people talk general, well, men, they ain't shit. There's a whole bunch of ain't shit men. Mm-hmm. Yes. It's just the motherfuckers if every man that you dated it wasn't shit,
you ain't shit.
You was the common denominator then.
Yeah, pretty much.
You attract no shit niggas. I mean,
yeah.
So
Got that.
so when you had guys like him, I didn't watch his stuff every day. I only watched it so I can get. I didn't even watch it for entertainment anymore. It's just not. It was hard to watch. It's very hard to watch when you watch somebody talking to hard-headed women.
Yep.
It is a very hard thing to watch. So, but I had to bite the bullet. I had to sit back and say, man, let me open my mind and let me try to get reasoning behind the way that they are speaking and being, because they called him.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They blew him up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a reason why he didn't blow up when you start talking about the dudes first. You know what I'm saying?
You're not going to do that because you don't have, for one, we're not your top consumers. We're not. And some dudes have given up a long time ago, like guys that just can't compete. They've given up on the whole dating thing. You know, by the time they turn 25 now.
Yeah, because the way
it's weird now to see dudes have like they go MGTOW. You know what I'm saying? It's like, damn, they so frustrated where they just said, I'm about to I play video games and I go to work.
Yeah.
And I start, you know, being in weird shit like Star Wars conventions and shit like that.
Start paying for pussy.
No. The dudes that pay for pussy, they know what they got to do. Some dudes just got to do it, man. They like, look, I'm awkward. You know, I don't have a good personality, and I don't feel like working on it. So what they do is,
I ain't mad at it.
Yeah, they keep the strippers in business. You know, they keep the prostitutes in business. You know, $40 in a chill. You know, that's what they do. But they suppose they got $40 back page. That's that special, that back page special.
You're gonna be my hoe. You gotta be worth a little bit more than that.
But I'm just saying that some guys, so they exist too. But what you have a lot of these guys, it should be where they're trying to get people, the end game is to get people to marry each other, whether they do it legally or whether they merge together. And have nuclear families. So it's for not just the people that you're trying to get together. It's actually for them to build families for children. So the children can do the same thing when they turn adults. It's supposed to be this ongoing thing before you die. So one of the things I agreed with Kevin Samuels on was that we ain't got a lot of time when it comes down to trying to get our shit together for our children. You don't. And you shouldn't care what the fuck another person thinks if you actually is going in the right movement. And I mean this. Like, you would hear Kevin telling some women that it's basically over for you at 45, right? He's not telling them based off of just their age. It's their criteria that he's talking about. You said you want a dude that makes a gang of fucking money. Why would he want to be with you?
But that is true though. Why would he?
Why would he want to be with you? And the thing is that you should have like the female Kevin Samuels asking women, hey, why would you want to be with a man that you have to take care of? Why would you want to be with this type of guy? Vet dudes. You don't have women even telling when you have these women that come out here talking to women, they lie like a motherfucker to them. They all, girl, you look good. Go ahead. Oh man, they be body shaming. It's positivity, body positivity, and guess what happened? I don't know.
You said body positive.
I don't know if y'all seen that last show. Well, you was on the show, Jeff. Remember that
curves,
one? When that lady that had all them ailments and she was taking care of her daughter that was in a wheelchair and had 3 kids, and she came on to a dating site and she started complaining about her life. And then after her saying that, she was getting ready to turn 60. And after saying all that shit that was terrible, she said, but I need a man. Who?
And she said dudes was coming at her, but she denied them.
But she was shaking them off and all of that stuff.
Yeah, she had a lot going on, man.
She had a lot going on, but that's what happens. Yeah. So imagine All right. Kevin Samuels died happy. At least he died content. That lady is getting ready to die, and she ain't accomplished nothing in her fucking life other than she created some fucked up shit for her goddamn children. Because remember what she said about the first husband?
Yep.
What did
I
she
think I
say?
remember that one.
She said
He raped
He
her
raped-
granddaughter,
yeah,
Great,
bro.
great,
Let's say
great,
great.
yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
But he did that.
I know.
And then the second one, he did some crazy stuff. And then she had a son that did some. It was like, what the hell? But I need a man. And that was on a dating site
They had the
or a
nerve.
dating show.
Had the nerve to start asking like, "Well, I'm just waiting for God." Well, God gave you opportunity. You kept bringing bad men around your children, bad men in your life. So you think God gonna keep blessing you with opportunity to get a man? Like, no, like,
Word. That's not how it works.
no. Hey, yo, we got like on the real. I'm kind of impressed. We got a lot of comments and shit right now, and yo, hit the what's the shit we got?
Oh, the super chat.
Hit the super chat. Hit,
We
you know
got
what
a
I'm saying?
super
Support
chat
the
on
show.
there. Yes,
Throw
sir.
a couple of dollars at us.
We got the super chat on here. I forgot we ain't even promoted our super chat that much.
Yeah. Throw a little couple of dollars at us. Support the show. You know
Yes,
what I'm saying?
sir.
God
Shit.
damn. Let's read some. There's a lot of.
Yeah.
I
Let
saw
me see.
somebody talk about the girl he was with.
Which one? Let me see.
The man.
Let's
man,
roll
shout
through
out
these
to
right
everybody
quick.
in this shit, bro.
Let's roll through these right quick. I know we have put these up here. Let's go with. We're gonna start with.
Fuck you, rap. What's her name? Rap V. Fuck you, nigga.
What she say? Damn.
Who cares? His ass is dead, not me.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, look, like I said, people are entitled to their horrible ass because they don't do shit to me. I just ignore those folks, man. Like I said, I don't care. We really don't care. But let's go ahead and start off with
my wife.
your wife. Go ahead.
I heard she was texting me. She was going back and forth with somebody in the chat.
Oh, I'm gonna make you a
yeah. So
I'm gonna make you the Crawford chick. I'm gonna make you a moderator so you can have the power to go ahead. I'm gonna give you the power of Grayskull so you can go ahead and delete some of
yeah,
these
that's
people.
what she texted me. She was
in
like, I
here.
can't. She going back and forth from her, but yeah, ain't no.
I got you.
Ain't no elder black men. The issue is black women, but y'all ain't ready for that conversation.
All right, let's see. What's the other one? Glad you guys are doing this. Never knew Kevin. Who is this? Open Fields.
Open Field.
Shout out. Never knew Kevin, but was a regular listener. He taught me a lot. His messages are sadly misunderstood. Absolutely. I agree. Absolutely.
Somebody, man.
Yeah, this person got to go. I don't even know why I even showed that shit.
That's what they do on the internet, man.
They be trolling, man.
Yep, Tata. Who is this? They say plenty ready for it. Who's y'all?
What?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Man. I'm trying to find a comment.
Science girl, what's up, Science girl? Hi, I'm from what is that? Malaysia.
Yeah.
Malaysia.
And I started watching Mr. Samuels 2 months ago. Rest in peace to him, and prayers to his family. Rest in peace to the man, for real.
Okay, go to Brian Downs. That's his name.
Okay, let me finish this. Science girl said, as an Indian woman, I learned a lot from Mr. Samuels. The Black community and Indian community have a lot in common. We do. I really, it is funny because I talked to a lot of young folks at the University of Michigan, and man, a lot of Indians I talked to that one of the things that they talk about is the decline in their country for nuclear families. And I know some doggone countries over that way in Asia, man, they can be poor, but they're probably the happiest, countries and communities in the world. And it's crazy. So once they start being westernized, it's a little bit different, man. But thanks a lot for your comment, Science Girl.
Man, we got people all over the world, goddamn.
Okay, Tata does. Go ahead, bro.
That's the issue. I think she said with y'all. Yeah, that's the issue, y'all. And being educated about music, so everything women say can be source in somebody's lyrics. Facts.
I mean, I can understand what they saying on that, but I mean, it's art, and the thing is that when you start using it as a way of life, that's when you have a problem.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, but if you used it, if we didn't have everybody jumping on the bandwagon and every song has to do with dysfunction and the shortcomings of our people, then I probably would have never had a problem. I never had a problem with it in the 90s because it wasn't being overdone. You know what I'm saying? You had all different types of music at that time. Now it's like everything is going towards dysfunction and shortcomings. It's crazy. Tommy Sotomayor did it years before Kevin Samuels. Kevin blew up and didn't mention Tommy at all. That was one of the issues I said at the beginning. I had just a slight gripe with that because that was kind of screwed up on that part right there. And he did it purposely. He was kind of taunting Tommy when it came down to it. But and Tommy spoke on it, but let me tell you something. One of the things I like about Tommy Sotomayor is that he still won't talk ill of somebody that's deceased like that. You know what I'm saying? So it just got to the point he was like, man, it ain't like I got love for him or don't. I'm still gonna maintain how I felt, but I move on. And he does. He move on.
Yeah.
He spoke on it on Fresh and Fit, but they still was like, shit. That's why Byron, he was like, man, because once a person is gone, you ain't got that time to go back and try to mend that back together. It was the same thing. If you ever noticed, I don't know if y'all know the story about Tupac and Snoop. One of the things that haunts Snoop to this day is that him and Tupac didn't get a chance to actually mend their beef.
Yeah.
And I mean, it can really mess with people like that, man. But it is what it is. Like I said, I'm not 100%. I'm not a fan of a lot of people. I'm just not a fan. No, that's a fanatic. That's what actually a fan is. But I follow people so I can see the good and the bad in them. And I just delineate from there. I can listen to somebody that I may not necessarily agree with. Doesn't mean that everything that they say I don't agree with. You know what I'm saying? Because that's one of the things that help us be able to have discourse with each other. Because when we can see another person's side and we can argue our own, man, it makes for a great argument. Yeah. But when we not understanding, you ever seen people arguing, they weren't even arguing to each other's points? You like, this is like the goddamn Twilight Zone. So it makes no sense. I love to see an intellectual debate. I love to see it, even with the some of the damn cuss words and stuff like that. But only when you speaking to a person's point, not when you out there just trying to call them out their name.
Tommy drive black women. KS actually spoke truth.
He said Tommy dogged black women. KS actually spoke the truth. Listen, Tommy he talked harsh. Well, this is the thing about Tommy Sotomayor, and I've listened to way more of his shit. I listened to 12 years of Tommy Sotomayor. And let me tell you, there has never been a woman in his real life that ever spoke ill of him. Even women, I've seen this man get on social media, get on YouTube, him and a girl going back and forth and back and forth. 4 hours later, they friends. They the best of friends. They got an understanding and everything. What happened, man? I didn't hear you.
Nah. I was telling Chris.
Yeah, because I didn't know
Tommy's the dude. Remember when he went on Fresh and Fit, and the girl was trying to fight him?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Her crazy ass.
Yeah. Yeah. So you have to actually see these guys. You actually have to see. You have to see these guys' content for real to really understand where they're coming from. These guys ain't going around smacking women up or being anywhere that they go right now. Tommy Sotomayor is where he's at. He's in Chicago right now. He goes and talks to people publicly. He has been on so many shows, man. It's a weird type of celebrity that you got on YouTube. Like he's the most famous, unfamous dude I've ever seen in my life. I'm talking about he done had everybody from Scarface, the rapper Scarface. His best friend is who did I tell you that was? freak in the morning, a freak in the evening.
Who is that?
Just for me.
I know the song.
What's her name?
I don't know. Who's that?
Dang, she was on one of his shows too, man. She was on a couple of his shows. What is her name?
Right now, Adina Howard.
Adina Howard.
Okay, I
Adina
know the song
Howard.
for sure.
Yeah, her, Isaiah Washington, Judge Joe Brown. You just name them. I just remember everybody. I've seen him in interviews with so many people that you didn't even know. Tyrese.
You did interview
Bishop.
with Tyrese?
Bishop. Bishop. What's his name? On the big guy, the big dark skinned guy.
TJ Jakes.
TJ
TD
Jakes.
Jakes.
TD Jakes.
Oh, I say TJ.
TJ. What are you talking about? TJ Hunter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, TD Jakes. He even had Louis Farrakhan tweet some of his stuff on tweet. The people from the Nation of Islam. Yeah, I mean, he done had some. I'm talking about. He's the most famous, unfamous dude, but a lot of people had to fall back from him because of the stigma that he has and that cancel culture shit. So with Kevin Samuels, he was going into that same realm. Kevin Samuels was following Tommy for a long time. He's been on his shows and things like that. And the thing is that nobody has a problem with people. Everybody takes something from somebody. So that's never going to be a problem with any. It should never be a problem with anybody. The only thing, like I said, the only thing Tommy had a problem with was that he didn't, actually cite his sources correctly. That was it. Other than that, man, you do. One of my things is that guys don't have to be. I don't care if y'all beefed out and y'all don't like each other. That don't stop me from still getting the information I need to get from you guys, or be able to add to whatever it is that you guys are putting out there. But they're not. These guys have been looked at as like Hitler. You know what I'm saying? Like they only speaking what the fuck they know from their lens on a show. Now, if they was going out and they had this big ass, like a rally in all the states. Shout out to Black Lives Matter, huh? Shout out to LGBT. Shout out to all these other places that actually be doing some damage. I can understand it. But when you're talking about somebody that just have notoriety on social media, and then you got people that's really trying to tear them down, black folks trying to tear black folks down because they don't like the way it was delivered. That's crazy. And then they say, well, you can deliver it a certain way. Martin Luther King delivered it a certain way, didn't he? Who did it get him? Killed at 36.
Shit. Yeah, it was like, it's crazy. You could hear that shit like, you bashing women, you disrespect the women. Like, motherfucker, you support fucking Future and all these rappers and shit, and they call you all type of bitches and hoes and shit like that.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like I said this before, people just want to pick and choose what they want to get mad at. That's why I don't have no fucking filter no more. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like people just gonna get mad what they want to get mad at. You know what I'm saying? It's like look at all these women out here fucking happy that Kevin Samuels dead. But when we was talking about fucking Jada, when I call fucking Jada Pinkett Smith G.I. Jada and shit like that, motherfuckers get mad. Like, oh, like, how can you say that? Like, he's trying to protect his wife. Bullshit. Like,
nothing.
Get the fuck out of here.
She said she don't need protection. This is the type of woman that he be talking about, though. That's I'm like, y'all just proving his point.
Proving his point.
They have. I'm like, who raised y'all? Like, seriously, the comments. I'm telling you, like, for the last few days, I was like, Jeff, I can't. I had to go on like 2 people. Like, I'm like, don't come for me. I won't come for you. But
yeah. Oh, I've been seeing you.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? I'm glad you said that, Carissa. How do you feel? Because this is why that's why the reason why I fuck with Kevin, right?
Yeah.
Because he kind of inspired me to understand, like, damn, more men need to. When you hear like more men, we need to protect Kevin Samuel at all costs. When I said it, I was more so talking about, damn, we need to speak up more.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't keep quiet. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need to start speaking up. Like with the issue we have with women. You know what I'm saying? We have to make them feel uncomfortable. And a lot of times, it's like people like me and Jeff, for example. You know what I'm saying? We get a lot of flack just because we fucking married. You know what I'm saying? Like, just because I'm married, I can't speak up for men. Like, I'm still a man.
Exactly.
Like Carissa, like, hold on. Look.
Now go finish your thought, bro. Finish your thought. Finish your thought.
Carissa, how do you feel when you see Jeff, speak up, like you do? Like, did it used to make you feel some type of way at first?
I don't feel a way, to be honest, because I mean, because I feel like when you actually you guys as men are speaking up, it's the same thing as us when we speak up too, and I do strongly believe that that's a part of communication too. So if there's things that you may feel that needs to be changed for within us as females, I mean, it's okay. And I tell him too, if there's something that I do that maybe like bother you or whatever it is, tell me. That's a part of just us as growing as individuals too. The problem that I feel like a lot of these women have is they just can't take constructive criticism, and that's horrible. That's bad. Like, how do y'all expect to want more and gain more if like our men can't even speak up and just say, hey, maybe we should maybe though you guys should start maybe carrying yourself in a different light, so that we could feel like you guys are in a safe space too. It's the same thing. We've been speaking up, saying what we want our men to do, but I feel like over the years, you guys haven't had that opportunity to actually have a space where you guys can actually like speak up for what is it that you want as men too. So I feel like they just have to like start taking a step back and just hear y'all out. I mean, this is all new, but when I see these women getting upset, and saying like just this off the wall stuff, I'm like, do y'all ever like realize this is like exactly they're really proving his messages is true. Like the comments that I've seen just this past just within the last few days, I'm just highly disappointed, and I'm like how do y'all praise and be glad that this man is dead? Like, who does that? It's really pathetic. Honestly, it is.
Well, it that just shows where a person is in their own life. Like I said, it's it's just we're at a point right now where there's about to be a major change in how we talk to each other as women and men. First and foremost, if people have not caught on to it and get the memo yet, there's not a Black community. There's just an American community. They're just American communities. Black community is not
a thing.
That's not anymore. It's not.
Yeah, it's not.
You have to be. We've been here long enough in America, long enough where we can have American pride. And my whole thing is that it starts with family. I have a family, a long line of family, man, that was nuclear. Like, I got I got like a long line of people right now that's from, like the early 1900s.
Wow.
Great grandfather, grandfather, grandmother, all of those families. And I can trace back, uh, pretty far from so many avenues in my family. One of the things and I'm about to start doing it. I don't know if you guys ever did what is it, heritage?
The
When you
ancestry test, I did one, but yeah,
Well, they have that one with the test, but I'm saying as far as like tracing your family, like doing the family tree,
it's kind of.
and you start with you, your parents, their parents, their parents'
I
parents,
want to do.
and you just, oh my God, let me tell you, it's addictive.
I was about to say,
And you,
yeah.
yeah, it's very addictive because and it's very emotional because once you start getting, if you can get all the way back to the 1800s,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's very emotional because then you will start seeing the, like, now monogamy is, this is the thing everybody has been talking about, monogamy. If you ever notice, people are not promoting monogamy anymore. What are they doing? Polyamorous lifestyle, polygamy, all these different things, right?
Yeah.
Where in all actuality, polygamy has always been in existence. However, polygamy, when you look at what polygamy was about, you had to, as being a man, in order for you to even have to be able to build a family throughout of that polygamous lifestyle, guess what you have to have?
Money.
A whole lot of resources.
Yeah.
You have to have a lot of resources. It wasn't about how fine you was and all that, because normally the man that has the resources is who? The older guy. All of his women that he had, all of his wives were a whole lot younger than him. That's just what it was. You start doing your research in your family. You're gonna see how many wives that your great great grandfather had. How many, how many wives that your great great uncle and all of them had. It's an emotional thing, man. You will see that families were marrying each other off. And that was in like shit, the 30s and the 40s, even in the 50s. Then it started dying off in the 50s. By the time you get to 60s and 70s, the world has changed to something different. However, monogamy was the equalizer, to give men a goddamn chance. Give the normal man a chance. Because, and then even when you guys seen the movies in the 60s and in the 50s, and the man was trying to court the woman, and what was she saying? What kind of job you got?
Yeah.
I can't just go to you. My father's not going to allow me
Exactly.
to marry
I said
you.
it the other day. I
Yep.
said that. Yep. Yeah.
That's all that you have these guys talking about. I'm talking about the older guys. Man, I ain't trying to listen to no 20-year-old tell me about monogamy and all that shit. They ain't lived long enough. But you got somebody that's 50, 60, and 70, listen to them. And a lot of times they're not telling you something that they learn from doing good things. They're going to tell you about something they learned by doing fucked up shit in their life. How they fucked up themselves. Most men ain't going to tell you. Nigga, I was paying child support until I was 60 years old. I didn't know how to manage my dick. You had a lot of guys, they would speak the truth. That's all it was.
Man, he said, manage my dick.
Right.
Yeah. Because it got to the point where it was never, look, man, I'm telling you, one of the things I do understand is that it's always been when men had multiple women. It just got to the point with men, once you start getting closer and closer to modern days, they had to start lying about it because of the equalizer.
Mm-hmm.
It got even worse when the courts got involved. When you start having family court, come on. Now they really got to lie. But before then, they wasn't lying. These guys was like, all right, I got a woman on the other side of town. What's his name? The blind guy? The blind guy?
Stevie Wonder.
Goddamn.
Stevie Wonder?
Not Stevie Wonder, the other one, the one older than him. Ray Charles.
Yeah, Ray Charles now.
I got a woman
way
over town. What you think he was talking about? He was a married man. He had another woman on the other side.
Yeah.
She give me money.
Yeah.
So that man was definitely, it's just funny because back then they also called him a ladies' man.
Yeah.
So you still had a group of people that referred to men that were, had the reputation of having multiple women as a ladies' man. Then it got to the point where they stopped saying that, and in the 70s they started calling them dogs.
Mm-hmm.
In the 80s, it was dogs, and then they're cheaters. He's a cheat. He's a lie, and he's a cheat. And he needs to be stopped. And the more and more the men stopped speaking on it, the more and more aggressive women got towards the men. So then it gets to the point, if I catch you cheating on me, what I'm going to do? Throw some grits on your ass. Cut your dick off. I might just kill you. So then it gets to, so this is how our society is now getting to the point where, Kevin Samuels like, damn, this world is in need for a reset.
Right.
We went too far. Yeah. It's fucked up. How can I do it and make a living? And that's basically what YouTube did. How can I do it and make a living? Because before then, they had the Donahue Show, Oprah, they had Sally Jesse Raphael, they had all of these shows were built for women. That's why they were done in the daytime.
Yeah, same thing.
Look at it.
What was that?
Even the Maury Show.
No, Maury was built for weird motherfuckers. Him and Jerry Springer, that was built for dysfunctional motherfuckers.
Especially Jerry Springer.
Jerry Springer was definitely, that was a dysfunctional. Maury Povich, let me tell you, every time I see Maury, and I like him probably as a person, I probably would like him as a person, but on that fucking show, that man, I want to be able to just push his old ass over every time. He won't let, like, you got the girl, she come on there, she bring on guy number 9, cussing him out. It's your baby. It's your baby. He got the same shirt. Look at this shirt. Look at his head. Look at these ears. Number 9. Nope, you are not the baby. She runs her ass, do the same shit. I think they tell him to do it. She runs her ass to the back on that crying couch. Mm-hmm. What my man doing? He out here dancing, celebrating like shit.
She's a hoe.
What did Maury look and tell that man? Don't do that. Are you serious?
How can you do this to this beautiful queen right here?
No, go down there and tell her that you are sorry. Man, I ain't telling her shit. You gonna pull me. You knew I wasn't a damn father. That baby white. I'm dark skinned. What are you talking about? No, it was, and this is the thing. It catered to women so it can break us up as women and men.
Yeah.
That's what that show did. A paternity show that you do live, that's a lot of money. You see how many years it done been going on?
It just got canceled. I mean, just
yeah, they just
stopped it. It wasn't canceled. They just stopped it.
Jerry Springer was just smart. He understood that I can't do nothing that's too serious.
Yeah.
Jerry Springer is a lawyer, and he used to be the mayor of what I can't remember what city.
Really? I didn't know that shit.
Yeah, he has a show right now called Just Jerry.
Oh, Jerry.
Yeah, okay, Jerry Springer.
Oh, Jerry Springer. Yeah.
He got a show right now called Just Jerry. But he's
that's some bullshit.
He's a lawyer. Yeah, but that's what he know what TV was about.
Yeah.
That's why people never got mad at Jerry Springer, because Jerry Springer understood. He's like, this is just entertainment, man. It's dumb shit. And it's dysfunctional, and that's basically what it was. Maury never led on to that. He like, no, because everybody want to know how many. This one girl had 15 guys on there for one baby. Do you know how trifling you gotta be?
You're on the 15th man.
15th man?
That's embarrassing, like, to your child.
Man, that's way beyond embarrassing, bro. So, when you start having YouTube and Facebook and IG that can push people that has normally never even thought of being able to do something like this, where you can talk to real people at real time and get real shit. You know what it is? It's because now daytime TV ain't nobody gonna be watching that shit no more. They're gonna be watching us.
Yeah.
Real people talking real shit. That's just what it is. Look what happened when they started doing reality TV.
Yeah. Those
Look what happened.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers wasn't even paying attention to series no more.
Nope.
They were like, fuck. That's why they had to start streaming and shit. They had to figure out another way. They was like, damn, we losing all kind of ratings just because of this shit. All you got to do is have some dysfunction ass people on there, call it reality. And you script the shit and you say, this is reality.
It's the drama that people feed onto, though. They love the drama. I always say they love a good gossip, drama, whatever it is. You just have just a tad bit in there. You'll get views. It's true.
But people get mad at people like Kevin Samuels, Tommy Sotomayor, Fresh and Fit.
Us.
When that's all they're doing. They're making it entertaining. Yeah. And then when they turn those cameras off, they go do their life. It's a dope thing where you go get on here, show your talent on here, get you about $11,000 a month, and you can make a living off of doing this. And then you can take your ass on trips and shit like that, and they ain't got to deal with this. That's a dope thing. Yeah. Because you go over there on somebody else's show, your ass there 9 to 5. You only making like $9 an hour being a cameraman. You only making like $15 an hour being a program director. You know what I'm saying? They don't make no motherfucking money doing all that shit. The talent is the one that makes the money. The producer and the owners, they're the ones that make the money. But on YouTube, your destiny is yours. Yeah. And a lot of people kind of figured it out. It's not an easy thing at all. It ain't instant at all. But this is what it is. So I can't be mad at none of these brothers for doing it. Now, the ones I do get mad at, it's the motherfuckers that actually try to ruin people's lives. They out there, doxing people, getting all their real information, the kids' information, the mother's information, all these things, and putting it on social media. So guess what's going to happen when they keep doing this? It's going to be some stupid ass laws to come in.
Yeah.
That's what happened. Stupid laws for stupid people.
Yeah.
So that's basically how that goes.
Man, y'all wilding in the chat, y'all.
What they saying, man?
Say sunshine. Let me see what the fuck this nigga.
Yeah, click it. Somebody should monitor the comments and and add the audience in the discussion. You are absolutely right. Let me tell you, y'all have to be patient with us because we never had this many people. In here, we trying to get this managed, man. We trying to manage this. This is probably the first time we ever had this.
Or you can hit the super chat and we for sure read your shit.
Oh yeah, we can. Just off the real, we got super chat over here, so that's definitely a good thing too. But you are absolutely right.
Money talk,
absolutely, absolutely.
Man,
but they coming these comments coming in, and if you're on Facebook, if you're on Facebook, you don't see the comments that's coming in on YouTube.
Yeah, that's
where the comments section is. So if you're on Facebook, you think that we only got 1 or 2 comments in there. It's not. It's actually on. That's why we tell y'all to come over here on a YouTube. When you come on YouTube, you will see what we talking about.
Hey, I see this a lot. Hey, what y'all think about this? People think Kevin got killed.
This was Francisco Williams said black women had him sacrificed.
I see.
They called for his death. Man. Shout out to Ryan Adams, man. Guys are kings. Guys are king has fallen. What should we do? Hey, man, we just got to keep spitting the truth, man. And in your real life, bro, just make sure that you get your life together. If you got kids, start speaking to them. speaking the truth to them. Try to find a way to get to them, man. That's it. It ain't no real, like, I'm not no, I'm out here just like anybody else. Sunshine City, Sunshine in the City Productions. This is me, Stephonia. Okay, you on the the YouTube side, Stephonia. All right.
You still ain't.
Hey, what? You still ain't hit that check. You still ain't hit that link. Yeah. Anybody? Matter of fact, let me put it in here. If you guys want to come over here and have a conversation with us, you actually can come. Let me get this right here.
Sunshine in the City Production. Come tap in.
Yeah, y'all can tap in, man, and give us your what you think about anything about Kevin Samuels, from what we were speaking on and everything, man. You guys can actually come in here and talk to us. But and that probably would be better because, man, we trying to read all these doggone comments. Hey, look, I'm new to this right here. I told y'all to let me be the producer. How you gonna be the producer and you all the way in another state, lady? What are you doing?
Man, she been trolling us last week.
Stephonia, my girl, she all right. I just wanted to hit that link though. That's it right there. That's that link, y'all.
Yeah, there you go.
If you want to hit it.
He was so, man. What y'all think about people saying he was murdered?
I mean, I'm the type of person, like, I like, the whole investigation to be done, due process, and see if it's true. I mean, I don't think that's what happened, but I'd like to wait and see,
Yeah.
I mean, I want to see what happened too. I mean, I just find it very weird. Like, literally, I was on his live, what was it, the day before. I saw him online and everything, and I'm like, I mean, he just seemed like, perfectly fit persons. So I wouldn't have thought that's how he would have went out. You know what I mean?
Sunshine in the City, you don't have to show your face on there. You don't, when you call in, you don't have to put on the video. Only thing you can do is call in without having the video on there. So that's why we use Yard Stream, because you still don't have to do that. You could just call in. You don't have to put the video on. Yeah. Y'all over here pitching woo.
Shout out to Janelle Bentley.
Yes, sir. And Tattoo is spitting woo at each other, pitching woo on the job. Look at them. They out there pitching woo. We already making a connection.
It makes sense for KS to be murdered because too much money.
Man, you quiet, man. Malik Jackson. Could nobody hear you? You gotta.
Oh, you can't hear me?
No, it makes sense for KS to be murdered because too much money will be lost simply canceling him. Nah, man. Anybody, it ain't enough. It's enough money for everybody.
Exactly.
Everybody to get money, bro. It ain't that serious, bro. And you got to understand that he also had illnesses that was not spoken upon. He at one time he did mention that he was a cancer survivor. So it's a lot of things. And then, the man is 52. He's not, people keep talking about 56 and 53. He's only 52. He hasn't made it. He didn't make it to his 53rd birthday yet. And at that time, man, if you actually understand that guys that's that age right now, man, they dropping like flies. These 50-year-olds, man, are dropping like 55, 56. They dropping like flies, bro. So it's this is my thing. He died. He died. The man has accomplished, and the thing is that how he died is really for his family to find out.
Yeah.
The man is gone. It ain't gonna bring you back. None of that shit. So, my thing is that now that he has transitioned, it's time for everybody else to kind of like move on. That's why we take the time right here to commemorate him. If it was somebody else that I fairly new. I probably will be doing the same thing. That's why you're not having me on here talking about I love the man. That I didn't know him like that. I knew him as Kevin Samuels, the influencer. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all. And his death was pretty much untimely.
Oh,
how I
that's a
look
good
at it.
point right there.
Go ahead.
Diana, I don't believe that woman was a nurse. What nurse don't know how to do CPR? Oh, I forgot MJX doctor. Now so the girl that he was with
She's
apparently was a nurse.
Yeah.
So
So what's up, Sunshine?
What's happening?
What's going on with you?
Y'all-
Hello.
You on here?
You on here?
So hold on, wait a minute. Y'all thought I was scared. I'm tired of being called a troll. Number one. But how y'all doing tonight?
You was a troll. You was
I ain't no troll.
Definitely was.
I ain't no troll. I'm for real. Wait a minute. Let me turn down
I'm
my
not
TV.
not a troll like those little bitty trolls, but some of the stuff you were saying was trolling.
No, it's not
It was
trolling.
trolling.
What it is a difference of opinions. And sometimes people don't like that.
Well, I love a difference of
Yeah,
opinion.
me
Give me
too.
your
So
difference
give
of
me
opinion
yours.
right now.
Okay,
I
so
want to know. You know how I am.
well, you know how I
you know.
am, so it's the real. And
Well, let's get it together then, girl.
let's do it.
So you didn't call us all type of bromance and
Well,
all type of stuff.
the reason. Okay, so let me give your co-host, James, a little bit of background about myself. Number one, I'm from Boston. Number two, I love anything to do with broadcast because I have many years of broadcast under my belt. I hosted several radio shows and a television show in my city of Boston, which was geared toward what James says is no longer in existence, the Black community. So I appreciate what y'all are doing, and I hope your target audience continues to grow. That's what I would say to that.
Thank you.
We
Now,
working pretty hard on it. We
mhm.
working pretty hard, and thank you for that. Absolutely.
So we're talking about Kevin Samuels. Um, I guess what I will say is I will make my disclaimer first. I did not agree with much of what he said. He wasn't my cup of tea. However, like I said in my intro, I love broadcast, and I think Kevin carved out a lane that I know you said Tommy Sotomayor has done it um, prior to Kevin. However, no, Tommy did not do it like Kevin, and so Kevin really utilized his platform and elevated himself in a much faster way because he kept true to himself and he didn't try to replicate anything that anyone had done before him. That's my opinion. And regardless of whether I liked what he did or not, when you're on the air, whether it's, whatever means you're using, if you're using radio, if you're using television, if you're podcasting, you have to sort of build your personality and bring who that is, whether you bring your real self or the personality that you create so that you can, draw your audience in. I think that's what Kevin did well. Now, I think my opinion is that he had a combination of both Kevin and the persona that he wanted um, people to kind of be drawn into, and in that way he was able to build a cult following. I hear a lot of brothers who Kevin spoke for. They had a lot of the same opinions as Kevin, and the discussions just went out of control. Females who, I mean, we just gonna keep it real, right? Kevin really dogged black females. Now, the perspective of black men is like, nah, he was telling the truth. but you're not a black woman. So you can't say um, how black women received Kevin's messages, and you hear the word misogyny a lot of times, but as a black woman, there are unreal expectations that we are supposed to accept, you know, opinions about us. And so that's what I think black women really took offensively, because not only do we get it uh, from the outside community at large, even though you're saying that the American community, James, I'll use your description of, there's no longer a black community, but I believe there is, and we can debate that later. But to hear, or to some black women, because I'm not one of those black women who took offense to anything that Kevin did personally, because he didn't represent, or he did not describe me.
Well, let me ask you a question there.
Go ahead.
Because you said he dogged black women.
Yes,
Where did you get that from?
I got that from Kevin, and
I mean,
Kevin.
where? I mean, you
Yeah.
saw it on his videos where he dogged black women.
Yeah, like what do you say?
Um,
Like what do you disagree?
well, when it's not about necessarily disagreeing, this is about exactly what he did. He basically made comments. He expressed, what he felt. Okay, what I'll say is this. For some of the things that he has said, most of what he said about black women was negative. For instance, the most recent thing, I didn't see the whole full, video or anything, but just by the headlines of, being 35 and unmarried, you are, what was the terminology he used, y'all?
What, when he was saying that she was
What it up?
average at best,
Yeah.
No, not average at best.
or did she hit the
Oh, you're a
wall?
leftover. You're a leftover. Like,
You what?
it's like, huh? What you mean you're a leftover because you're 35 and unmarried? Perhaps, and this might be unbelievable to some men. Maybe some black females don't want to be married. You never know. You don't know. You can't generalize certain things. There's
But
other.
see, when you watch, this is the thing though. But when you watch a clip,
Uh-huh.
that's all you get is the clip. Because
Okay, but
if you watch the whole thing, you will see how it got to that point.
okay,
Normally,
I'm using that one example. Okay,
uh huh.
so just like you're saying that you only watch a clip, when Kevin spoke to some women on his show, he only got to know a clip of their life. So he was making his perceptions. And so when you become a public figure such as Kevin did, right? He opened himself up to scrutiny, and the
And he handled it
perception
very
that,
well.
and
He
he did.
handled it
And
very
so I'm
well.
not, listen, I'm all for that. I'm just saying that at the end of the day, the people who took offense to what Kevin did don't owe him anything. And that's other than condolences to his family. And I'm not saying that as a person who has any um malice toward him, because
Right.
from my perspective, from my observation, right? It takes a lot of work and effort to get up, open up your studio, open up the airwaves, you know, and keep your audience engaged and watching and wanting to see more and more and more. And
Yeah.
so I feel like his work ethic in that way was like tip top epitome. There's some people who, like, James, you're a DJ. You play songs from different artists who were one-hit wonders. And you're like, damn, that little ranky-dank song, you know what I'm saying? How he make it? You know, Kevin, there's millions of podcasters. There's millions of people who try this thing that you are and everyone else is doing these days because you can do it from the comfort of your home. And I feel, you know, Kevin was on to something that worked for him, and it actually opened up. He gave a platform to you know, well, some people got reeled into him.
Let's say it. He gave a
You,
platform to women to be able to rebuttal what it was that he was speaking on, and he
well,
never
no,
gave.
okay, so you could say that, but you can also say he got into the minds of black men, a large population, or I'm not gonna say like every black man believed in what Kevin was saying, but what I'm saying is, you know, a lot of people, a lot of black men who believed in Kevin's ideals, so to speak.
No, well, a lot of stuff Kevin been saying, a lot of black men been thinking about.
He didn't
Exactly,
come up
but
with right. He didn't come up with
Black
anything.
men,
right. No,
not
no, no,
even
no,
black
no.
men in general.
Hold on, y'all. I'll be right back.
Always thought this. You know, the problem is a lot of men were scared to say things like this because you get labeled as a woman hater, misogynist,
Right.
little dick energy, all this crazy ass shit.
We're,
You know what I'm
saying the same
and
thing.
it's very hard. It's very hard for men to get females. You know what I'm saying? And most men really just want sex. So a lot of times men will just shut the hell up. You know what I'm saying? And really just say things what women want to hear. So it's not a point where Kevin just brainwashed us.
Oh no, I'm not
where we
saying he
didn't want to.
brainwashed y'all. And actually,
That's what it sounds
no,
like.
no. I'm not. Well, you're not hearing me then, because that's not what I'm saying. We're actually saying the same thing. I'm saying exactly what you just said, is that Kevin used his platform to elevate voices. Now, on the one side, he elevated the voices of females who were drawn into his, you know, into, like, when the mic cracked, he was, you know, they ran their life story. They answered his questions, and, you know, they did not necessarily care for his ideas, his ideals, his assessments, his thoughts, his perceptions of who they were. And
Okay.
he was speaking the thoughts of what a lot of black men, and I know y'all said men in general, but I'm saying black men because I feel like that's who really popularized him. And
no, women did. Women did.
Women
I think
popularized him. The men didn't do
Because
it.
them women didn't have to call his show.
He had more. Remember,
exactly.
he never really spoke to men. Once he started popping, he didn't start speaking to men. He used to speak to men back when he wasn't even popping back then.
Mm-hmm.
But
No,
hold
I know
on,
that.
Jeff has something.
Hold on, let's get him in.
Yeah, we got somebody that's about to come in, but I wanted Jeff was about to say something.
Information, we got you.
Yeah, Jeff was about to say something. Let's get him to say something in here, Stephania, and then
I get a shot.
All right, cool. So what I really want to say is that, I mean, I'm still waiting for more examples regarding like Kevin dog black women, because I never seen somebody come on your show and usually he'll ask them a set of questions, right? Ask them the questions, and then they telling them, he's assessing what they telling him, and then he's basically giving them his opinion or advice, right? A lot of times the advice that he will give them is good advice. For example, if you want a man that make a certain amount of money, first of all, you gotta understand that there's not a lot of men that make that. There's a small percentage of men that make that type of money that you're looking for. So with you excluding majority of men, it's not gonna be, beneficial, right? You may not get what you're really looking for. Also, women who are overweight, let's be honest here. A lot of women in our community, they're overweight, 200 pounds and up. You should not be 200 pounds and up. You know, as a woman, you should not weigh more than your man. That's common sense. If you want to live a longer life, you want to be there for your family. You should not be overweight. You should try to work out and keep your health right for your family, for yourself, and other things that Kevin talked about. Women call on the show. A lot of them, they've been through traumatic things. Person Kevin tell them, go seek therapy, go get help. We always talked about that. What about the women who call on Kevin's show? I'm a better woman because Kevin helped me. My marriage is saved because I listen to Kevin. I'm able to understand men more because of Kevin. Kevin, if anything, people like Kevin, Fresh and Fit, and people like that, they really telling women how men are. And women are just not accepting the fact that a lot of men have standards, and they basically giving you guys a cheat code. So I really don't understand that when women say what they want out of a man and their expectations, but when a man has an expectation, it's like, oh, he's dogging women. He don't like black women. He's gay. He's this and that. He's that. Funny thing is, the best way women like to master the man is to call him gay. They kept calling Kevin gay, right? They don't have no proof for that. How come you're speaking on that? How come you're not saying that's not fair to call him gay? That's
when females got all the gay friends.
What is this sexualizing with anything, right? The man clearly said he was married twice, and we don't know what he was doing, right? Cool. And the last thing I'm gonna add to this is that, the very women who disagree, it's fine to disagree. I didn't agree with everything Kevin said, but I agree with most of it because a lot of it was things that needed to be said to people in our community. And he always said that this is not about me. This is bigger than me. This is about helping people. And, I think he did help a lot of people. Hey, man, you can't save everybody. It is what it is.
Yeah. Information at Information Man Show. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing fine, brother. I found your channel, saw what you all were talking about. I've been on these YouTube streets for a minute, and I have a show. A lot of folks know me. I can speak upon Kevin Samuels because I've been on panels with him several times in the past before he ascended to where he got to. So I understand his talking points. He used to be a part of the Coliseum on BGS's show on Saturday night. And he's always been trying to provide young black men in general, some wisdom, some understanding. He has tried to tell people in some of these spaces about upping their game on their channels. The way everything you see on his channel, he was telling people to up their game. What I want to say here is that I understand why he resonates with a lot of black men on YouTube, because I'm going to just keep it 100% real with you. I'm about telling the truth. You have a lot of brothers who may not have had fathers in their life, didn't have proper male in their life that can give them the game, give them the knowledge that they need, that they didn't need to rely on somebody on social media.
Facts.
I'm 52 years old, brothers. Never needed Kevin Samuels to give me advice on a damn thing. I've lived enough from experience, and the black men that I'm with are doing the damn thing. What he did was try to create a standard for black men within the manosphere. Most of the stuff that Kevin Samuels was talking about, he got a lot of this stuff from talking points of other brothers that were in the manosphere or part of the manosphere. But what he did, because of his marketing background, he packaged it. He took what they were doing, which was very raw, and he put a Madison Avenue package on it. Everybody was making fun of him, saying, oh, he's got candles, he's got this. That was a part of the packaging, the flowers, the lighting, the camera. That was all to attract the ladies because that became his target audience. Absolutely. Now, we as black folks need to understand something here. When Kevin Samuels was critiquing men, 'Cause I remember when he only had 100 people watching him, which is still dandy to me. And he had mostly men in there, and he was trying to give men some game. And he was critiquing men and saying, you're not going to get a upper class or high class woman with A, B, and C. Get another job. You need to get your stuff together here. So he had harsh criticism for men. This is what I think a lot of the ladies don't understand. But I got both sides of this, folks. Believe me, is that he did give harsh criticism to men. But this is the thing, and this shows you how YouTube works and how we work as a people. And we got to recognize this. His fame and his channel did not take off until he started talking about black women. When he was talking about black men, you didn't hear a lot of people say, hey, why are you talking harshly about black men? Absolutely. He started talking about black women, and that resonated. Why? Whether it's incels, whether it's guys out there who have a bone to grind with women, they came out because they felt that he was saying what they really want to say. He was speaking for their cause and for their thoughts. And he was using manosphere talking points, okay, which resonated with people. That really moved his show and propelled him, along with the presentation that he presented. That was a professional. It's a lot of back sound.
Hold on, sheep. Yeah,
somebody needs to
move in. I got her.
I'm gonna cut it short. I just got to make these points. This is very important.
Go ahead, brother. Go.
His show started to compel. It started to move forward as he started resonating with men. And then there were ladies out there that agreed with what he was saying. There were men out there that agreed. And then there were men who disagreed and women who disagreed. Okay. Right. And there were people that were watching him, that were hate watching him, and people that were watching him because they liked him, and everyone was becoming curious about him. And we saw this all happen.
Right.
But what really bothers me personally as a black man is that on YouTube, we can get a lot of views when we're talking about each other.
In a negative sense.
In a negative sense. So you got Kevin Samuels talking about black women who are the daughters and the mothers of black men. So if we're supposed to unite as a people, why are we talking about black women who are related to another black man? Do we respect each other as black men when we will open up the door to criticism, which I understand, but we talk about our people on social media like a dog, and other groups that are on code with each other, they do their shit behind closed door, but we display it on social media, and then Kevin Samuels blows up, not because he was talking about black men, but because he was talking about black women. What does that say about us as a people, that this man was able to blow up and have success over his critique of black women, although he was not a professional therapist. He gave his opinions. I'm a therapist. I'm certified. He gave his opinions. He gave his critiques, which some of us can say was right, wrong, indifferent. Absolutely. And there were things that he did that I didn't agree with because of the fact that when the sister on here said that he said things about black women that was right, I can tell you what he said. This is why black women have a sustain for him, don't have respect for him. How many of y'all remember this? And I've got the article on my computer. He used that golden matrix that he came up with about the beauty of black women. He said it out of his own mouth, caught on audio for all to hear. He said, black women are not really that attractive in this golden ratio standard in the world in comparison to other women. Now, come on. Now, you got to be honest, brother. What has happened to black people for centuries? They stereotyped black men. They stereotyped black women. They said that we're mammies, we're bucks, we're coons. You had the ethnic notion video. Check that out. That shows you how they depicted us. He used a talking point that white people and white supremacists have used to derogate our people. And he took this from a Japanese man who was a racist, a psychologist, who, by the way, got discredited with that golden ratio that he came up with. So my point I'm making, I know I'm long-winded here, is that he used a talking point that was very disrespectful to our women, because he was literally saying that our women weren't even beautiful. And on that golden ratio, guess what the golden ratio beauty standard is? It was a face of a white woman. So tell me something, brothers here. Tell me something. As much as we want to talk about, what he did on social media, yeah, he did some things that empowered some brothers, but he also did things that I think that were damaging to you say it's no community. I say there is a community because black people come in all different walks of life and economic backgrounds so when you do that and you know that there's about 70% of young people that are getting their information from social media and they're listening to this and they're seeing black men, grown ass baby boomers and Gen Xers arguing back and forth with each other, critiquing other people as if they're God. What kind of message are we sending to our young people coming behind us? Just like colorism, we can't get away from colorism either. So black people, we have a lot of problems that we need to clean up and stop acting like our draws don't stink when we're up here on social media critiquing women. And then Kevin Samuels, if that was the woman that he was with, that woman didn't fit any of the standards in terms of body size and shape that he preached on his show every week. So we don't know these social media personalities, folks. We really don't. Before we start praising them and acting like they're gods and comparing them to people who accomplish things, we don't really know these people.
Well, listen, one of the things that I look at, and that's why I said at the beginning, like when I spoke, I don't know when you came in on the show, but my biggest thing was that it doesn't, what I looked at when it came down to how I critiqued Kevin Samuels, it didn't have anything to do whether he was talking about black women or not. It was what they received, regardless if he said it nice, regardless if he didn't say it, it was still going to be received as negative. Now, there are things, and I can honestly say there are some things that when I did see some of the things that with Kevin Samuels did, it was a little over the top sometimes, because sometimes he over talked to women, he didn't let them talk, and all these different things. So I understood, but I also said that's his platform.
Yes, sir.
It's way more other platforms, and they were coming to him. So my biggest thing was, even though we had differences on our approach, I still think we want the same thing. And that's just true. Like what you said, and your critique is that, listen, it was some things that you kind of looked at what he did was damaging to the black community. Just like I look at it as one of my things is that I'm just saying that as far as like community, technically, that black community doesn't exist anymore.
It doesn't exist as maybe some of us grew up and remember the community. I get what you're saying. Functional,
to
right?
Be a functional, right? I look at it as a community. Other than that, it's just the same way on how I look at neighborhood and hood.
I do have to,
neighborhood. When you take the neighbor out of the hood and you don't have neighbors anymore, all you have is a hood, and that's kind of bad. So my whole thing is that things are always going to happen in the black community. Right. We're just going to have it. It should never be the rule.
Right.
At some point, it wasn't a rule. Now it's a rule, and it's like, wow, what do we do? So like you said, I'm 49. I didn't need a Kevin Samuels. That's why I was telling the brothers earlier that a lot of things that he was saying, it wasn't really like it was shocking to me.
Exactly.
Because I've heard this type of talk.
Sir.
First and foremost, I've seen how my father and my mother together. They've been together for 53 years. So I've seen, and they're still to this day, they're still together. So I've heard men speak to to women in a way that was direct, not the harsh way. My father never abused my mother, but he did talk to her in a direct way as her man, the leader, the one that was responsible for her. But she also pushed back on him because she was also that woman that was always, she was for the long haul. So they had to learn how to be honest with each other. And sometimes it hurt their feelings. So even with me, my parents said things to me, depending on the level that I was in life, that may have hurt my feelings, but that's all it did. It made me a better man.
Let me just say this point, and I'll render the mic. The women that called in his show, they have to also look at themselves and hold themselves accountable for calling into a show when they knew that Kevin Samuels was going to be very direct with them, that he had a sort of a way about him, like a father, an uncle, who's just going to tell you like it is, whether you like it or not. A lot of these women knew this. But on the flip side of that, if you notice that most of the women, and I don't know them, but most of the women, when they were calling in and you listen to them talk, he was actually, in my opinion, attracting women who obviously had some issues already, because there weren't a lot of, because women that are solid, just like men that are solid, that know who they are, have confidence, they're not calling a Kevin Samuels, and they're not going to be triggered by a Kevin Samuels because they know who they are. I think though he was able to attract, for lack of a better word, women who actually had some serious or have some problems, and they were looking for answers. And I think it actually speaks to a sad commentary in our community that you have to talk to someone on social media and you don't have anyone in your own, as you guys said, there is no community. There's no one in your surrounding area that you could actually talk to about like this, either a father, a brother, an uncle. We should have black men in the community that can lead our ladies and give them the right information so that they don't have to go to social media to have someone who may not give it to them in a way that's palatable for them, or even for some of us who didn't like his style.
I really kind of disagree with that. I disagree with that personally, because as you said, I feel as if the anonymity of social media, right? See, social media and various means of communication that we didn't have from a technology standpoint. Everybody on this, so far, it sounds like most of us are, well over 40 when, cell phones weren't even popular. The most you might have had was a beeper, and you were lucky if you had that, and even a two-way telephone line, right? But the anonymity of
most people don't know what a two-leg telephone line is.
You know what I'm saying? So the reason I say that is people could have as many folks in their life, such as myself. I have so many people that I could call and they look out for me or whatever. And I think some of the women maybe wanted a different outlet so that, they would not be judged by the people who love them. So, hey, why don't I just call in and see if I could, get a little something from this dude here about what's going on in my life.
But don't you think, sister, that speaks to the problem in our community? Look, I'm coming. This is the why. No, hear me out, sister. I've got over 25 years as a mental health therapist. I deal with guys in the prison system in California. I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot in my life, in my short life. I think when the brothers are saying that there is no black community, I grew up at a time. I grew up in a community where the community did raise you. You had Big Mama, you had the men in the barbershop, you had the black men in the community raising you, not only your mother, your father, but you had the community raising you. So you had examples that held you accountable. You had people that you could probably come to and talk to. If I played sports in school, you could talk to your coach. You had institutions where you had black people that would talk to you if you couldn't go to your parents, right?
Okay.
I think it's indicative of this generation, this texting generation, this generation that doesn't talk on the phone anymore. This generation just wants things to be sort of behind social media. They've been programmed. It's programmed our people, and it's also indicative that some of our young people don't have these outlets in our communities.
Okay,
so that leads them to have to come to someone like Kevin Samuels to get a counseling that they may not like the way they get it, because he don't know them from A to Z versus someone that does know you.
Understood. But the assumption that you're making, it sounds to me, and I appreciate you giving me, your pedigree and your background. But the assumption that you're making, as it relates to the callers who did call into Kevin's show, is that they were all young people, and they were not.
No, he never said
that. No, I never said that. I said that we do have generations who have a different way that they operate from maybe baby boomers or Gen Xers like myself.
Understood.
But
what
I did say overall
Talk.
that it is indicative of an issue that we have in our community. First of all, my sister, let me say this. Would you agree or disagree with me that Black people are in denial of our legitimate mental health problems? That's what I've seen. We are
Well,
in denial
I
of it.
do.
Sometimes we don't want to be honest about it. I remember growing up and they would say, "Oh, that's Uncle Craig. He just touched, he just a little touch." No, Uncle Craig had bipolar personality.
Untreated,
No, I agree.
undiagnosed. Yep.
I absolutely agree with the fact that there is a lack of acknowledgement that there is, a lot of mental health in our Black community. Yes, I do agree with that 100%.
Mm-hmm.
You too.
But I don't think that the call. Well, when you said something about the impressionable young women that were calling Kevin, I was just saying they weren't all young women. These
Right,
were
but there were certainly
these
ladies
were well
that
established
Mhm,
women who actually had life experiences,
right,
and not the fact that they did not have someone else to call, but
mhm,
they chose to call into Kevin. Now,
right,
what they received from Kevin is
mhm,
what they got, and whether or not they liked it, appreciated it, whether it helped them or not, that was their choice. So I
right.
don't think that saying or making the assumption that there was no one, that there were not
But
other people in their lives that
let
they
me
could
interject.
When
Let me
you
interject one time.
please interject, because a lot of these
Because
women did
a
call
lot
in.
of a lot of
It
a lot
sounded
of
like
these
they didn't
women,
have anybody.
yeah, and a lot, like us, like with Information Man show, what he was saying, he's seeing the type of women that was going to Kevin's show. I've seen it because he gives them, they give their pedigree to him. He asks the questions before he gives them anything, and he is only from what they tell him.
Right.
And a lot of these women were not established.
They
A
weren't.
lot of these women were all over the place. And the biggest thing was that because he only asked them elementary questions. He didn't ask, they all got the same question. How old are you? What kind of guy do you want? Rate yourself, and all these things he was asking them, because what he was doing was he was just trying to keep his show in some form of order. That was it. So he asked these questions that were just elementary. They give these answers, and then they start having the conversation if they can get to the
Right.
conversation. But most of the time, these ladies established that they were not at all stable.
Right.
Mentally,
Right.
financially, it was a whole lot going on
Right.
with
That's
them.
that's the point.
You would have women that were married talking about leaving their husband, not respecting their husband, having side guys, and all these different things.
Yeah.
So it was. So that's why, like, when I really took when I really started watching Kevin, I didn't have to watch this guy in order for me to get somebody to exact what I was saying. I didn't have it. I was literally, because I am a YouTuber, I seen the guy had some form of success, and I was actually studying his formula.
Yes.
Yep,
Just
same
to
here.
see what was going on. I was actually understanding. I'm like, wow. So with doing that, I also seen these women were coming to him so they can get some type of answer. Most people would think that they want to get brutalized. No,
Right.
they actually wanted somebody to tell them the truth, but they couldn't receive it once they got on the other end, the business end of that gun.
I think this.
Some women just couldn't.
I think this is part of the problem here. I think honestly that some of the women that started calling him in the beginning, before they kind of knew his style, they're calling to get help. And I think in our society, we have been conditioned to say, okay, you got to be very polite with women. You got to tell them kind of what they want to hear. When we grow up as men, some of us, our mothers will tell us, you got to be nice to the girls. You got to talk to them a certain way. And I think when women are confronted with a man who does not engage in the things that we've been grown up to be taught, to how you talk to women and how you're going to treat them, and because he was very straightforward, it didn't come off as well to people, and some of the women did not like it because
Yeah.
they probably were expecting Kevin Samuels to be very gentle with them and say what they want to hear and say, oh, girl, you can have everything you want. You can wait until you're 35, 40 years old and get the career and then have a family. And he was saying the opposite of that. And I think for black women, they took it as very rejecting. And let's be honest, we live in a society where black women in this society have in a lot of ways been rejected. And I think black women took it personal as seeing it as a black man is rejecting me and rejecting black women and being misogynistic toward, misogynist towards them. That's how some women, I believe, took it. But I'm telling you, most of the women that called his show, women that are established and confident, know who they are, they don't need to call. They didn't call Kevin Samuels. Because if you're a woman who's married, you have a career, you're happy in your marriage, right? You're doing the damn thing as a black woman and you're strong, because black women always use that term strong. Then why would you need to call Kevin Samuels? I know plenty of black women. They told me they would never call Kevin Samuels, and most of them have their shit together.
Yeah.
So black women who were petering on questioning themselves were the ones that were most attracted to him, because they were looking for some answer. If you're looking, if you're not looking for answers, you don't call anybody.
Exactly. And I really feel like, and then like watching some of Kevin's stuff, I really feel like some of the women that call up there, they were just trying to argue with him. You know what I'm saying? They wanted some type of clout, because it's like, I don't know, it's like you said earlier, James, a lot of stuff they was talking about, it's just really hard to hear. And it just, for me, and maybe I'm young, I'm 31, but it was just hard for me to believe that women out here really is really this difficult like this, or the way of thinking, the way they think, you know what I'm saying, way they operate things, you know what I'm saying, they really think they're supposed to go their way, you know what I'm saying. And I just feel like I feel like a lot of women have been lied to, and I feel like the reason why a lot of women act how they act, because because of men, so
there's a lot of generalization going on in that, in what is being said
Well, we
here.
have to speak in generals.
But see,
No,
this
no,
is
no. I
this is the
understand.
thing,
I
sister.
understand that we have to speak in general, but
Right.
I feel as if there's a little bit of how do I want to say this? There's a lot of assumptions going on as we get deeper into this conversation about the thoughts and what women perceived Kevin as, because I could say I'm one of the women, he did not bother me in the least bit at all. And I might fit into probably 10 of the categories that he identified,
Mm-hmm.
but as far as being the person that I am, I'm very assertive and knowledgeable of self. And, I looked at him the same way as I look at other entertainers. He was an
Mm-hmm.
entertainer. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't as to me, he was in his bag. He was basically building an empire, and he
Yeah,
soared to
brand.
fame. He soared to fame really quick because he mastered what it was that he wanted to do. But on the flip side of that, he also projected his viewpoints. And those viewpoints, as y'all said, was received by Black women. And what they received was what they perceived Kevin was. And their dislike for him came from him. And no one should expect that, women would not have an opinion about who Kevin was, because whenever and I don't know, maybe the psychologist can say this, but whenever you open yourself up into a public space,
Mm-hmm.
you're leaving yourself open for people to to form an opinion of who you are. And
Right.
basically, Black women formed their opinion of who Kevin was based on him verbalizing his thoughts about who Black women are, or the
Right.
types of Black
He.
women that he described. And so, all of this, hoopla and people's, I keep hearing this thing, and I don't know, the psychologist can maybe help me understand this, but I keep hearing a lot, or seeing even over social media, black men saying that black women are really somehow glad that this man, who is someone's son, who might be somebody's father, who could be somebody's ex-husband, is a brother, to this community, or
Hold on for a minute, Social. Let me interrupt.
But
Janelle, is that Janelle Bentley? You can call in. I just put the link into the comment, and you should be able to get that link, and then you can call in.
Sister Duff, the reason why, and you probably already heard this, the reason why black men are feeling that way is because, and it was on Twitter, you had it was reported that there were several black women on Twitter. I'm just saying in general. I'm not saying all black women were sort of praising his death. There was one lady who wrote, he said this one day, the next day he's now a bag of bones. So there was a lot of visceral response to this in terms of people being glad that he was out of the box. He was no longer here. And I think that those are women who obviously they didn't like his message and what he was saying and how he was going about it. And they were praising that. But sister, on the flip side,
sorry.
I was just going to say, on the flip side of that, there are women on YouTube who have divestor shows, divestor channels, where they talk about divesting from black men and don't have black male children and maybe get rid of black male children and what have you. And swirling. And I don't hear the same vitriol for black women on social media that are also saying things that are offensive about black men, because we seem to think that all these guys on social media represent the pool of black men. No, they don't. See, this is our problem in the black community. We take the minimum and make it the maximum. We take the maximum and make it the minimum. So if you got a small percentage of black men that are dusty, musty, and crusty and not doing what they're supposed to do, then we judge all black men as that. And we shouldn't even be doing the same thing with women too, because we do the same thing with our women. We conflate all black women are this. No, you don't know all black women in the world, or even where you don't know all black women. Right. But that's what we do. We sensationalize it and we stereotype each other. Well, white people ain't got to do nothing to us anymore. We do it to ourselves.
Yeah.
Well, just going back. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Hold on. Let me get Jeff in, because he was trying to jump in. It's like double dutch you there, Jeff. But go ahead, brother. Let me let you go ahead and take it with you.
All right. Mr. Information Man, just want to ask you one question, right?
Yes, sir.
With everything that's going on in the community and the whole, dating scene now, like, I'm gonna ask you a simple question. When it comes to, let's say somebody comes to you and they have an issue they're dealing with, right? Mm-hmm. What step that they have to come in terms with in order to get the type of help that they need?
Well, it's just like anything in life. At some point in time, you have to come to reality as to, do you have a problem? And if you do have a problem, you have a serious issue that's going on with your mind, your body, your spirit, you have to come to honesty and say, I have a problem in these areas. And you have to be willing, because you can't, therapy can't work for you unless you're willing to take the keys and open the door to get the help. So I think that's the first thing. Get out of denial. That's why I said that black people in general, some of us are very much in denial of some of our own mental health problems that stem from our childhood and things that happened to us, trauma that we experienced, and we have yet to deal with it. We may medicate it with drugs and liquor and things of that nature. So I think that's the first step. And maybe, I'm just saying this, maybe the women that were calling Kevin Samuels, maybe that was their way of trying to take the first step, but it may not have been the best way for them, because I just think when people are fragile emotionally, it's just me, you really don't beat them down to build them up like you're in the military. That's not what we do in a therapeutic environment. You don't break the person down like that to build them up. You have to go step by step, because the mind is very fragile when people have emotional problems.
Okay, cool. Nah, I'm glad you answered the question the way you did, because that's true. In order for you to get the type of help that you need, first thing you gotta do is admit the fact that you have a problem for you to get the help. A lot of women that came on his platform, you know, you can clearly see that they've come to some type of term where they want to get something out of Kevin, whether if they were trolling or whether if they really need his, opinions for real, right?
Hmm.
And I've seen Kevin talk to all types of women who are successful, who kind of seem like they have this stuff going on financially,
Hmm. Hmm.
but when it comes to like dating, they just had some a lot of issues, and he tried to help them the best way he can. And if you know this person on their platform, they have a way that they do certain things. If
Hmm.
you do not want to be one of the people that go on the show and possibly get the type of harshness he was giving to the women, don't go on the show or don't watch it. That's how I look at it, right? So all the women who are so triggered and so mad at what he's saying, I agree with. I'll say 90% of the stuff that he talked about. I didn't agree with everything he talked about.
Hmm.
I agree about 90% of what he talked about. And one thing that Kevin said was when he first started and he went viral, he said that the reason why he packaged his message the way he did it is to shock people. When you get shocked like that, it kind of like it kind of like it makes you want to pay attention more. And in the dating scene and between men and women, what we got going on in the black community, we know it's jacked up. So Steve Harvey done it. He tried to do it the nice way. Oh, be nice and do this, do that. You the prize. But when it comes to men, right? It's like men are not allowed to have certain standards. If a man says, okay, for example, right, you know, I want my woman to be submissive, then that's an issue a lot of times. Or I want my woman to be cooperative. I remember I was talking to a young lady, right? And she, we when I post stuff on social media, she always goes in my story and replies. And I said, she was like, oh, you act like you know this and that, that, that. I don't know everything, but I've definitely gone through therapy with my wife, and we've done the work. Number one thing you gotta do the work, and um back to what I was saying with it's like man standards. It's like man can't have standards. You say something, you misogynist, you this, you that, you hate black women. And one thing you said earlier that caught my attention was Kevin has done damage to some type of damage with how he was talking to women. I think that I don't really agree with that because if you look at social media and you see how a lot of our women are behaving, it's disgusting. It's
It
not
is.
a part of. If you're looking at reality TV, the way our women are behaving, disgusting. And also, there seems to be a lot of respect for black men in general in our society. Our women don't respect us. A lot of them don't respect black men. I remember Kevin did a show on he asked a young lady and he said, why don't you smile? Why I gotta smile for? He said, so we can get a smile out of you, but if we're in the street and something happens, somebody's beating you up, I'm supposed to come and help you, right? So if I can't get a smile out of you, then why the hell would I risk my life to try to help you or save you if something's going on?
Right.
So it's
But
just like this whole thing.
but
Go ahead.
just keep this in mind. One of the reasons there's a thing called transference and countertransference, meaning people have experienced trauma. There's a lot of our women that have experienced trauma whether it be a family member or some male that has done something to them. I'm going to say the R word because I'm not going to say the actual word because it does hurt you on YouTube.
Yes.
Okay.
Or you could say grape.
Yeah, I understand, brother. I'm a veteran on YouTube here, so I'm not going to say things that are going to hurt your channel. So I think sometimes, and this is not an excuse, it's just reality. Sometimes we have to remember that when black women or even black men, because they'll call us the angry black man on our job because we talk with authority. I've had this happen to me. When you're a black man, you talk on the job with authority and know what you're talking with, people will take you as the angry black man. Well, black women have been dealing with that too. And when a black woman is snappy towards you, you may not know if she had a bad day, just as you may not know that she might be experiencing some kind of transference from you, meaning you might remind her. I'm not saying this is for all black women, of course, but you might remind her of someone who did something really bad to her. So we got to keep that in mind. A lot of our women have had, not a lot, but some of them have had some type of traumatic experience. And that could be playing into why psychologically they sometimes seem or appear disagreeable with us. Because unfortunately, and I've experienced this in relationships, unfortunately, when you get involved with a woman, whatever baggage she has and emotional issues that she has from previous relationships, you will have to deal with that if you want to. And sometimes she might project certain things onto you as the new man in her life, where you got to overcome and gain her trust because of what some other dude did. So I think, and you're gonna like what I'm gonna say here, brother. I think because we always want to beat our chest and talk about I'm the alpha man and men control the culture. I think we also as men can control the kind of women that we get. We can manifest the women that we get. If we have these musty and crusty guys out here that would stop pumping and dumping our women. You hear that on YouTube. Oh, pump and dump. Well, that's how you create agreeable and women that don't want to submit to you, because you got dudes running around here pumping and dumping our women, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Running through them and damaging them mentally. And then when you run across them and you say, how you doing, sister? She ain't got no love for you because other suckers have been abusing her emotionally and physically. And then we sit back and wonder as black men, what's wrong with our women? We forget, as I said, a lot of us have trauma, brother.
Yeah.
And I got to get Janelle in here. She's been waiting patiently.
And getting lucky. We got you too. We're gonna put you on deck in a minute.
Yeah, but go ahead, Janelle. Go ahead and
I'll step down if you need to bring more people up. But I just wanted to, say my piece and appreciate y'all.
No, you fine, brother. I appreciate you coming on here.
Hey, how you doing?
Thank you guys for having me. I'm sorry. I probably came in at the wrong time because Jeff just kind of exemplified everything that I had to say. And I totally agree with most of the panel when it comes down to, the trauma situations. But I would say I did learn a lot from Kevin, even going through therapy. I guess I'm one of those leftover women. Like, I'm 37, I've never been married, and I don't have kids, but I don't think that life is over for me. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that
Absolutely
I can't get a husband or anything, but I did have to go through some therapy. And I was one of the ones that were taught, hey, get a job, your education is important, worry about a man later. And later came a little bit too late. You know what I mean? But yes, I definitely agree with the fact that I think he was trying to keep Black families together. However, the way he went about it, it was kind of damaging to other people.
Okay, Jeff, did you want to speak to that also?
I mean, what I can add to that is, I think the damage has already been done, and, I think Kevin did more good than bad, if anything, to be honest.
I agree.
That's what I'm going to say to that.
Let me ask a question. Anybody can answer this. What can we do to get better as men and women? Like, how can we build each other? Like, because I feel this energy, like men and women hate each other, or we always competing with each other. Like, what can we do? Like, just like, I don't know if I should say start over, but what can we do just to get better?
Get therapy.
Men and women?
I think for me, we I'm gonna reference back to James again with the whole there is no longer a black community. Well, that is very true, and there's a lot of different variables as to why there isn't a black community. You know, we can talk about in all the major cities around the country, you know, the gentrification of it all, and we could go into a whole bunch of different reasons why. But the main thing is that there is not unity. There's no commonality that where you know that we are operating in a way that we want to protect each other, right? So, you know, back in the day, it was, am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am. Brothers are hating on brothers, sisters are hating on sisters. And I just think that, you know, we need to continue to do things like this, and that's have the dialogue and be able to receive the difference of opinions. Because, you know, just like you all just said that, you know, a lot of women did not like hearing what Kevin had to say in response to the questions that he asked of them.
Okay.
But what I also want to say too is that a lot of black men don't want to take the responsibility of what the damage that they have done to black women. And you know, it's an historic kind of
What do you mean by that?
what I mean by that is that, and I'm not saying on an individual, it actually it is individual, right? Because if you think about, you know, maybe some of your past relationships where you've hurt someone or a woman in your life, it could be, you know, an ex-wife. You never know. I don't know what your situation is, and I'm not going to even ask you to share any of that. But there's been a lot of hurt, you know, by black men to black women, and that's how we receive it. Now, you know, I'm not going to go into like identifying any specifics, but overall there there has been damage done by black men to their families, you know, separations of being with their families, you know, having black women raising children as single mothers. There's, you know, there's just so many different ways in which black men have hurt, you know, black women.
I'm so sorry to cut you off,
At all.
but I think that black women are the most submissive women on the planet Earth. Everything that
Really?
our men has
Really?
told us, yes. And let me explain. Let me elaborate and explain.
I'm sorry to cut you. Who's talking? Like, I just want to make sure.
Oh,
I'm
get
getting-
lucky.
I'm
Conductor.
getting
Okay.
lucky.
All right. Thank you for
Oh,
coming.
welcome to the show.
Welcome to the
Hey,
show.
Absolutely. Yep.
everything that our men have told us that they wanted from us for them to want to be with us, we have done and complied and did and changed, evolved. Like back, like even from the beginning of the time, y'all were saying, oh, well, y'all not sexual enough, you know, y'all, you know. So what we do, hype our sexuality up. Oh, y'all are not this enough. Like, I feel like that we are the most submissive, submissive women ever.
Well, let me ask you a question. Where did you get? Where are you getting this from? How do
I'm
you
getting this
measure
from
this from saying that
being,
you are the most submissive?
and the reason why that I'm getting this from me as a woman, my mother as a woman, my grandmother as a woman, my like we submit to our men. Everything that they say that they want us to do in order to have the illusion or hope that they'll stick by us and ride with us. We conform, we do.
So but I'm saying if you measuring that, I can understand you, your grandmother, your mom, but I'm saying in general in America,
Yeah.
you could say that Black women are the most submissive to their
Yes.
man.
Yes.
I definitely disagree.
Okay, and
I
let
want to
me
know if
Yeah,
anybody
I
else
disagree.
on this
hold
on this
on,
panel
time out.
agree.
I am finding myself in a situation, right? I am dating a man that is biracial. He has white everything in his family. Everybody in his family is white besides for him. And it's just the submission that Black women give is just like it's there automatically, just knowing that, like, you know what I'm saying, that we love and care for you. Like while y'all be saying that Black women are not submissive, like we submit wholeheartedly, period, and point blank. And it might not look like something else. That's because what y'all have cultivated us to, you know what I'm saying, what it have to look like. But as far as submission is concerned, it is there, period.
Well, I think what she's trying to say is that, and I don't want to speak for you, sis, but I
Do you
believe.
feel me?
Well, I don't necessarily feel it 100%, but I do understand what it is that you're trying to say, and I think, well, I don't know as far as the submissive part, and maybe that's the wrong word that you're using, in my opinion.
Well, that's what they say they want. They want a
Well,
woman that to do for them, to be there for them, to not have no fucking mouth back about
well, I don't think
things.
that's not what submissiveness is.
No,
No.
but like when you ask men, no, I'm just being real about like the climate that they have like created for themselves to say what submission is.
Well,
Well, let's ask them, what is submission?
Well,
no.
well,
You
What's
use the
submission?
word. Well. This is what well, then go ahead.
Ask,
I'll let y'all take
I,
ask the
I
men.
wanted I wanted to answer the question that was on the table earlier about how we can improve as Black men and Black women's relationship before we can even
Ooh,
get to the understanding of submission.
I
We are
have the
out
answer
of
to that.
we are out of balance as a people right now.
Yes, I
This
know
is
Hold
our
for one
exactly.
moment, people. Let me make a little show. Hey, Mojo, Mr. O, we see you back there, brother. We're gonna be pulling you in a little bit,
I
okay?
know
Go ahead, brother.
exactly how to fix all of these
let me
things.
let me
Like
let
it
me
could be
let,
gone.
let,
Hold
It
on,
could
hold
be
on, hold on, hold on,
gone
hold on,
right
hold on, hold
Well,
on,
we
now.
hold
can
on, hold
only
on,
hear
hold on.
this
one
is part
person at
this
a
is
Hold
time.
part
on, one at a
this is
time.
part of
One at a time.
this is
Yeah.
part of what I'm about to say, and this fits right into it.
Mm-hmm.
We're out of balance as a people, as men and as women. And part of our problem and our imbalance with each other is that we, one, don't listen to each other.
Absolutely.
Men are not listening to women. Women are not listening to men. And part of that problem is that when men really speak their honest truth in their mind, sometimes our ladies take a step back and say, well, wait a minute. We don't really see. That's the time when we don't need you to make your critique. We just need you to hear what we're trying to say, because you're not a man, I'm not a woman, so I can't tell you how you feel. You can't really tell me how I feel or really what I want. As a man, I know what I want. So I think we need to get in balance and understand that listening to each other is the first step towards healing and coming together. If I can understand what you want, how you feel, and do it without judging you, because that's one of our problems, that we get emotional and then we start judging each other because, well, I didn't like the way you said that, or I didn't like what you said. Instead of listen, hear, and understand, because we all have our different experiences. So I think that we need to really start the self-healing, love yourself, know who you are, be comfortable with who you are, confident in yourself, and begin with at least talking to a sister, talking to a brother, understanding what their experiences are and where they're coming from, because this is going to be a big problem. We're going to end up.
The truth.
Can I
Hold
finish
on,
this point,
hold on, hold
sister?
on.
See, this is example what
You'll
I'm
get your
talking
turn.
about.
You'll get your turn.
Okay.
You actually did exactly what I'm talking about. See, this is what I mean.
Yeah.
This is, and I'm going to make this last point.
Mm-hmm.
This is why we got to do something quickly, because what we're doing as the older generation is we're sending the same stuff down to the younger generation. They're watching us. They're watching how we operate, how we move, how we talk, and then they inherit the same poison behavior that we sometimes, not all of us, display. We can't push this, send this down to the next
And
generations
that
to go.
scares me. My daughter's only 4 years old.
Mm-hmm.
She's only 4. It scares me. I do not want her to operate like that.
Mm-hmm.
Is this the same person who just said that? Wait a minute.
If we can't get to that understanding, then this whole thing about how a woman should be submissive to a man and blah blah blah, I personally believe, I think it's mute.
Women do not forgive you guys from like black women do not forgive y'all for slavery. We do not forgive y'all yet.
Hold on, say that again.
I'm a little confused.
Wait a minute, now I'm confused.
Slavery.
Are you trying to blame?
Don't forgive you guys yet.
But hold on, because I'm a black woman I don't understand where that
I'm very confused here.
Hold on.
Like you can't bring up slavery.
I'm a black woman. Hold on for a minute. Can we pause? Could we pause? Mm-hmm. That right there has absolutely. I don't subscribe to that thought process. Okay. Period. I don't. The black men cannot be blamed for slavery.
We're not blaming them for it, but
you just said
we don't forgive them for it either.
Well, who's the we?
Black women.
Who is the we? What black women are you speaking of?
The majority of it. Why do you think that
what majority of black people can you of black women can blame black men?
The problem comes to me. Like, okay, listen.
I thought
we can sit up here and talk about things that we're dealing in now that we're not dealing so well in them. But like, I think the truth of the matter is, and where the discord comes between black men and black women, if the question is, how do we get ourselves back to loving one another and being there for one another, and you know what I'm saying, having each other's back.
Start loving yourself.
Hold on, I already love myself.
Start loving yourself.
I personally feel like that black women and black men I feel like that black women still, to this day, right now, blame black men for having us not segregated, but like fucking dominated and like slaves.
I don't understand you.
No, you do realize black men were slaves too, right?
Yeah, y'all were. And so why did y'all? So why did it take y'all? Listen, y'all want to know what the problem is?
I think this is a problem.
Y'all want to know what the problem is? This is the damn problem. Black women lost trust in black men when they allowed us as women.
When we got kidnapped. Okay.
Wait a minute, sister. Okay. Do you realize? Wait a minute now. Wait a minute now. Do you realize that when black people were taken from the western part of Africa, that there were slavery votes on the ship, that black men and women were fighting not to be even put on the ship. Right. There was thousands of black people who died just before they even got put on the ship, and that there were hundreds of slavery votes throughout the South in this country. So black men as well as black women were fighting to get out of bondage. So what you're saying is complete hogwash, to say the least.
Yo. No, sorry to cut you off. Important information, man. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, I understand that, brother, but that she's completely false.
Hold on. Wait a minute.
That is the discord.
Well, stop her mic so I can hear you.
Yo, stop. Everybody stop. All right. I'm loving this conversation, but it got to be one at a time, okay? Mm-hmm. All right. And I appreciate everybody's being on the show. I love it, but it have to be one at a time. We can't cut each other off. Let's listen to understand. Okay?
But if we're listening to something that's historically not factual, then we shouldn't be listening to something that's not factual, because that's just wasting time. That's just my opinion.
What is not factual? Well, I can give you the facts, and they date up to right now in present day.
Can I interject?
Our men were subjugated, dominated.
Okay, I know where you got these talking points from. This is Cynthia G talking points. I've heard it 1,000 times.
What are you
That's
talking
where
about?
you're talking. I know exactly where you're getting your talking points from. When you use the term dominated, that's the same talking points that comes out of that camp. That black men were dominated. Black men never did anything to save black women. I heard this. I've heard this 1,000 times on YouTube. It's rhetoric. It goes into that divestment, and it's not. It's rhetoric because it's part of the divestment movement.
Evolutionary.
And you just said, I have a biracial family. Now it makes sense to me what you're saying. That's the divestment movement rhetoric.
Ridiculous.
Okay.
That's what that is. I know what you're espousing up here.
All I want is, can I just say this to y'all?
Yes, please.
Okay, one more point. Then we got Mr. O. He been
all right,
patiently.
Because I want Mr. O.
Because you like an OG. Maybe you can shed some light on these dumbasses up here.
Okay. Oh, wait, that's disrespectful. Nobody's disrespecting.
Where do we get that
from?
Nobody is disrespectful.
I'm fiery. I'm sorry.
That's beyond. I just want to say to the brothers, I do not blame black men for slavery, I am a black woman, and I don't know where that.
Are you trolling, sister? I think she's trolling.
Can you stop her mic? Hey, James, put her on mute for a minute. Put her on mute. Put her on mute.
I think that everything has been.
So I can say what I want to say.
Our conversation was flowing, and she came up here and is now in this flow. And I don't know if she's just trolling or what, but all them talking points that she's been saying, I know where those talking points come from.
Yeah.
Okay, so
you can't be disrespecting people. Like gotta
all I want to say to y'all is that I don't know where she got that from, and it totally offended me as a black woman to even think that I could be included in that. So I don't know who that lady is, and I hope that it doesn't. Her opinion does not mean anything to make y'all think that black women overall or all of us believe that, because I don't.
Absolutely. Point taken. So let's go ahead and let Mr. O get in. Did you you in there,
doing?
Mr. O?
Yes, sir. How y'all doing? Can y'all hear me?
Great. Absolutely.
Information. How's it going?
It's good, brother. Good to see you, sir. I was hoping it was you when they said Mr. O.
Definitely. I just was scrolling, running through the YouTube streets, and I seen this channel. And really, I was just gonna watch, but when the young lady got to speaking, I felt like I wanted to say something on, especially on the backs of what we just lost, And he started the conversation, man, and it's for us to figure out how to finish it. And I think the best way to start doing that is learning how to communicate with one another. What I've been doing some research on lately, and actually being out here in the streets and asking these questions, what do people want? I think we want the same things, but we don't know how to talk to one another. And once we say certain things, people are just waiting to respond in order to defend. And you got to understand, on this journey, like, we all read in the library, but some people just starting in different sections of it. And as we work our way through and gather information, we're going to collectively define what we actually believe in. I don't think she believes all that. Like, information saying these are talking points, and we know kind of where they kind of get a birthplace from. And I just want to respect what's out there, but let you know that, like, I do love you and we do care, and we all want kind of the same things. We just need to learn how to communicate that to one another. And they got to start by appreciating all perspectives.
The first thing that I definitely want to make clear, Kevin Samuels, rest in peace. I never had any kind of ill things to say about him or towards him. his message was for who was listening and caught it at that time. Everything wasn't right, everything wasn't wrong. But you have to be careful about how you walk and tread the earth, because it's like, for some reason, I kind of feel like that people, and especially, I don't understand how our people are have gotten so disconnected with that, like with how the earth actually moves, with how it
Well,
do
how do
its
you feel
thing.
about what
Okay.
Mr. O had just spoke on though? Because what he just spoke on was the fact that, listen, we have to acknowledge that we have an issue when we're trying to get unity with each other. We're trying to get on another plane.
Mm-hmm.
How do we get to that point?
I'm
Because
going to tell
one
you
of the
right
things, but hold
now.
on, hold on, hold on.
Hold on.
One
I
of the
can
things that he
literally tell you right now how we get there.
Ma'am, stop cutting people off,
I'm
please.
sorry.
what he just said was that we have to be able to learn how to communicate with each other, listen to each other, have discourse with each other. We should be able to agree and disagree alike, but we should be able to do it not only just respectfully, but we should do it so we can learn something from it.
Right.
And what he's saying is that what he's speaking to, that's what we need to get to now.
Okay.
That starting point. Because earlier in the show, Robert asked a question, and we're going to go right back to the question. How do we get to a point where we're not bickering, not trying to tear each other down? Where's the starting point at now? That's what we
I
need to speak
know
on
the
now.
answer. I know the answer to it.
I'm listening.
Listen.
Go ahead.
I know the answer to it. The answer to how that we can start actually, you know what I'm saying, having conversations that go somewhere and having things that actually build up to what we want it to be. Everybody sit up here and say, oh, it's accountability. Everybody got to take accountability. Everybody, but that's easy to say from the opposite person that has to look at themselves and take accountability for what they've done, right? The answer, the answer to it is this: relinquish both men and women.
Relinquish what? What are you saying? Relinquish both.
Do you take accountability?
Relinquish where that you feel that you have no, like, wherever you feel like that you
I
had no
think you need to
control
get a
over.
train of thought. I think
Hold
I'm
on.
sorry. I'm not
One
trying to be
thing that you're not gonna
disrespectful.
do, the
Hold on
girl
for a
with the
minute,
S on her
Sunshine. Hold on
name,
for a minute.
don't cut me off and try to diminish
Wait, no,
my
just get to your
intelligence.
thought because we want to get to the other people.
So, okay, this is what you gotta do. It's so simple. It's so easy. It's so easy. For everything that they blamed you for, I'm talking about your women have blamed you for, just like, fuck it, I did it, I'm sorry. Everything that our men have said that we have done, take it. Be like, I'm sorry. That's it. Move forward. We don't have time for this.
Okay, so that's definitely not going to happen with the majority of men because
Why? But what if
there's
the
no
women do? If
context.
all the women did it, then
There's
what?
no context in what you're saying. There are
Okay,
people that hurt
so
other people and they have to hold accountability. You can't. That's only one component of many components when it comes down to it. So accountability
we
is
do not
in
have
that umbrella.
time.
That's what we got to do. But as
We
far as
don't
the
have
other stuff,
time for that.
all right, let me move
Prices
We don't
forward
are
have
to
going
time for
up
someone
on
else.
healing.
food.
I don't
People,
understand that.
people
Yeah,
are literally struggling. Like, we don't have time for
Okay,
that.
let me. All
Okay,
right,
let's
so let's move over.
Mr.
Dude,
O,
we
it
got
looked like
white
you
people
anxious to
trying to
say
go to the
something.
You
damn
put
moon and
So,
you
Mars.
put her on them.
I wanted
Oh,
to
go
start
ahead.
by saying what I said initially and then
Like, it makes
address
no
the
sense.
point that made me come onto the panel by her saying that we have given men everything that they want.
Yes.
And okay, so if you were to turn around and ask that question as you tried to, I want to tell you.
So sure, I'm just gonna put you on mute
Sorry
for a
about
minute
that.
because you do no, that's all right. I just put you on mute. Don't worry about it. Then
The
once you finish
first
doing
thing,
that, then just come back off of mute, okay?
but the first thing that I hear when I ask the question of guys what they want in a woman is peace. And peace has several umbrellas under like that mouth, as far as like cleanliness, but overall, man, like peace and understanding that you trust me, that I'm gonna take you to where we want to go. And with you, how you carry yourself on the panel is everything but. And I can see how you might not understand that, and we just want you to hear us so we can tell you exactly how we feel and you not question that. And once we can accept reality, now we can move forward. But to continue to tell us who we are or what we are and then argue points from things that we are not even connected to today, you arguing against history, like it's not getting us anywhere. And I want
Yeah.
to tell you that you fighting somebody that we all you got. And so we here for you, and we want to make these changes, man. But we got to learn how to talk to one another, and above all, man, you got to come through peaceful, so that we can. Once a woman is in a fearful state, she don't hear nothing that the man got to say, and when you trying to come from a point where you feel like you're attacked and you got to survive this conversation, you welcome here. You welcome so we can talk, so we can both figure out that, understand that we both want the same things. We just not figure out how to communicate that to one another so that we can effectively make some changes. It's not about arguing talking points and winning a debate on picking a side. Because
I totally agree with that. Like that literally resonated with me because that's not my objective at all. Like I want us to survive. I may be a little bit more forward thinking about, like, you know what I'm saying, what is to come, what could be. That's probably what women's issues are. We're very forward thinking kind of peoples. We want to, like, we don't want to be out here without, you know what I mean? We're women. That
Hey,
was
anybody else want to speak to that point?
I want to say something. The submissive situation, I don't agree with. I think that, and it took me a long time to understand this. I came from a father who was shot dead in the street when I was 4 years old. So I wasn't
oh my
raised from,
God.
you know, my father. I had my
Oh my
grandfather and my
goodness.
uncles. However, the submissive thing, no, I think Black women can be ride or diers, and they end up dying within the situation. But
Because we
I don't
submit.
agree
Oh,
with us being always submissive. We have to go back to history when our Black men was taken out of our homes and they had to go fight wars and they were put in jail. The Black man has it the hardest right now, even back then. So I just don't agree with, how can I say this? I don't agree with the fact that we blame the Black men for their responses to certain situations.
I do not feel like, listen to what I'm saying. Hear me, and this is with love. Black men have dealt with the fucking the most. But the thing that kept them was who?
I'm not sure.
I'm not
But
sure. I'm waiting on.
I want to be able to speak to. So Janelle, let me ask this. I have to cut in. Janelle, so did you say? Are you saying that you don't believe that women should be submissive to men?
No. I just don't believe Black women are the most submissive.
I do.
Oh, okay,
Oh,
okay,
okay.
okay. You spoke to the
I
point
do.
earlier to
I
her
believe
point
that
earlier.
Black
Yes,
women
yes.
are the
Got
most
you.
submissive to their detriment. Black women are the most submissive people that you will ever fucking goddamn meet. How do
All
you
right,
think that
but
they
you're saying
are
that, but
able
this
to
is the thing.
climb
Hold
corporate?
on.
Okay, I'm gonna shut up.
Listen, we already got the point that you're saying that black women are submissive, but this is the thing.
They're the most
You're not
submissive.
backing you're not backing up your point. So from that
I have
point, you
facts
already
to
done
back it
had
up.
hold
I
on, you
have
already
weight
done
and
had two
facts to back
women.
it up.
You already done had two women on this panel, and you have people that's in our audience that's also saying no, it's not true. And the thing is this: it's not. We in first and foremost, we got to get from this whole black man versus black woman thing first and foremost.
Exactly.
When somebody, but the thing is that you can't just say something that is just not true
It
and
is
arbitrarily saying
true.
something.
It's backed up
Okay,
by
but you're saying that.
history.
Hold
It's backed
on.
up
If
by
you feel that way, I
data.
can't stop you.
Black
But
women are the most
Kentucky,
submissive
listen.
Will you
women.
cut her mic?
Why do you think
This
that we
is
are?
Right.
this is not being submissive, ma'am.
Yeah,
This is
because
not being
you're not
submissive. This is not
listening.
being
Just cut her off.
respectful.
Yeah,
Just kick her off. Kick her off. Kick her off.
Peace.
but hold on. Hold on. Let me drop you. Let me drop you back. Let me drop you back right quick so I can bring. So we got somebody else that want to come on, but let me go ahead and drop you back.
I gotta start with peace.
Okay, this is the whole thing. I kind of, if she would have had something to back that up, then it would have made a conversation. It's not making any type of conversation at all. I kind of like, so I want to get back because it kind of knocked us off track first and foremost. I want to get back to the points that were being made. So I stepped back for a minute. If Robert, you could just tell me what point that they were doing, that they were making, and then we can go from there. We can start from that all over again.
I mean, there's so much going on. She was throwing me off with all this stuff she was talking about with slavery and
I could recap
stuff.
it for you.
I
I
can go
could
back to where
recap it.
she said that she was giving us ideal, giving us what we wanted, and we still not happy.
Well, I think to
It's not
get
a
back
fact.
to the platform that you created and going back to the topic, which is Mr. Samuel's untimely, unexpected death. The question that was asked was how, and I don't know which person on the panel asked the question, was what is it that we could do to make things better in terms of building unity within the community, more so about rebuilding a strong foundation with Black males and Black females. And I'm probably ad-libbing, but I think that's where we were.
Okay, we can start from there. That's a great starting point. Great. Oh, you muted information.
As I was saying before, if we can get back to listening to each other and get back to our balance, and I think that Black men and Black women, we have to start loving each other, being patient with each other, being kind to each other, having standards with each other in terms of what we expect, our expectations, and being honest. And the reason why this is important is because we want the next generations to see Black love, so that our daughters and our sons grow up with a strong foundation of seeing Black women and Black men working together in love, in cooperation. So now they know what the standard is, like in other groups, what the standard is, so that this gender war, which I really hate that it's even this stuff is even being talked about, so that our children go out into the world and young black males and young Black ladies will have a respect for each other, because we didn't give them poison as they were growing up and seeing the negativity. So it's got to start with our youth. It's got to start with us showing them better by our actions, less words.
Yes,
Mr. Information, do you agree that in order to exemplify that type of standard to our youth, you have to come from a place of healing?
Yes, you have to be willing to be, you need to be willing to humble yourself, put the bullshit to the back burner, get your egos out. See, sometimes we have egos and it gets in the way because we have our own agendas. We got to get all that to the back burner. All that. It's about going right back to the basics. Now, a lot of us will talk about how our grandfathers and grandmothers were married for 80 years, 70 years, and how they got along. you know what? Go back to the source. We should be asking our elders who are married still, I know it may sound corny, but we should be asking them, how did y'all make it work? I guarantee you that your grandmothers and your uncles and things of that nature and mothers, they had ups and downs in
Big
their
time.
relationship. But, and you're not going to like that I'm saying this, men knew what their roles were and women knew what their roles were back in the day. And I'm not saying this to be sexist, but it's just reality. People knew what their purpose and what their roles were in a marriage. Today, everybody is being told, be free to be whatever you want. Be whatever you want. Say whatever the hell you want. You can talk to a man any kind of way. You can talk to a woman any kind of way. That's the problem. We've gotten away from our basic standards that our forefathers laid way for us, but we've gotten away from it.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Agreed.
Go ahead.
I'd like to know, and just keeping true to form, because I love to ask questions. How many of the people participating, like right now, on this live, are married?
I knew she was gonna ask that.
No.
Yeah,
Sister,
I'm not
Sister-
trying to be Mr. Samuels or anything, but
I'll tell you straight up. I was married. I met my wife when I was in college. We were very young. We were married for 15 years. I have a daughter. She's 14 years old. Unfortunately, in that 15th year, we had some problems in the marriage that we both had to deal with ourselves. We had an amicable breakup. I have 50-50 custody of my daughter, been in my daughter's life from day one, from start to go, have no drama. We're able to talk to each other.
So, but you're not married.
I'm not married anymore,
Okay.
but I do have experience in being married. Unfortunately, it did not get past 15 years. But what I'm saying is, even though we're not married, talking about black men and black women working together, even though we're not married, we don't have drama. We have put aside our personal issues to say we're raising our daughter. That's all that other stuff is bull crap. You've moved on, I moved on, but we got a daughter here to raise. So I don't have the typical drama that some people would say. And that's because we took the time to say the marriage didn't work out, but we need to listen to each other to be the best parents for our child. So even if you're not married anymore, we still got to learn how to work together when there's a child involved. This is very important.
I was just asking the question.
No, I don't have a problem with being honest in that way.
But I can also say the same thing. I was married for 9, almost 10 years, two children. 2 girls, they're grown now. One is in college, one just graduated from college. And just like Mr. Information, I had to go through and I had to learn. I had to gain wisdom through my divorce and the marriage.
Same thing I went through.
You know, it was a lot of things that I went through. I was supposed to, because it gets me to be the man that I am right now and have the outlook on life that I have right now. So it's actually a great question that you ask, because just having the experience of being married, I didn't look at it, and I'm gonna tell you, I've been divorced for 20 years. So at first I didn't look at it as a learning process. I didn't look at it as a school until I started getting older. Because guess what? Even though my kids are older, even though they're grown and they've moved on and they're moving on with their life, guess who I still have to talk to? Their mother. And I had to learn how to be not only amicable, but I had to also learn how to love her from afar, because she did something that was dutiful, and that was to have my children while we were married. So we did everything that we thought we was doing right, but hey, life happens and you still have to learn. And I learned from it. I don't look at it as a you know how some people get they're damaged because of it. I'm not.
Right. So right now we have 2 no marriages.
I'll take it next.
Okay.
All right. So here's how I feel. I'm 40 years old now. At the age of 20 years old, grew up totally in the Christian household. True holiness my whole life, 6 days a week in church. Joined the Air Force right away. I think when you ask that question, like, everybody want to immediately think, like, I wonder why she asking. What is she equating that to the standard? And in this world, this country that we live in, the Western world, you know, they have formats and standards, and marriage is one of the systems that's supposed to equate to success. But it isn't the only one. My marriage was a business arrangement at that age because I had a child involved, and the church and the military intervened into that. And so I made a business decision, and I brought that child in what I thought was within the will of God. However, that being said, at the age that I am now, I no longer am a monogamous. My lifestyle is centered around, and I do shows on this, and I'm public about it, about polyamory. And I have very intentional relationships in my life that are very successful. And for us to come together, they come together on the same terms, whether it be a marriage or it be any situation. The key is to get a deal through life and get old together. Like, however you work that out, that's your business. But you need somebody there, man, because doing it by yourself just ain't it. It ain't gonna work.
I agree.
Okay,
Mr.
It don't
that's
do.
Right.
so now
Hold
we're
on. Let
at
me
3 in the
interrupt just a
marriage.
little bit. Hold on.
Okay.
So for Mr. O and
I got divorced
information,
early,
man,
and
make
I've
sure
been
you guys put your information into the chat. Make
okay.
sure you give us, because I'm gonna ask you guys before the show that you guys give us the information. I'm definitely gonna follow you. Anybody that's out here follow these guys, man. These guys, they doing their thing, man, for real.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. But go ahead, Sunshine.
I'm sorry, I'm not. I have a little background in, you know, um,
Well, Sunshine, are you
broadcast.
married?
I am not, and I'll
Okay.
tell y'all the reason why I was asking. But do we have anyone on this platform
Well, the two
that is?
youngest guys on the panel, they can speak. They married.
Yeah, I'm married. I've been with my wife. Well, I've been with my wife for 8 years, but we've been married for 4. We got 3 girls together. And I mean, I'm 31, and I think the main thing with me and my wife is, um, we understand our agenda as parents, and we want to. It's all about our kids. And even though we love each other and all, my main thing is making sure we grow together constantly, and not trying to grow apart. Um, because I see that a lot, especially my generation. I feel like a lot of couples, they grow apart, or they just impatient, and I feel like sometimes my generation could be selfish because they could focus on their own needs, and it's not really about the kids, so that's my thing is, me and my wife, we just trying to, number one, grow together, not grow apart, and make sure we do the whatever decision we make, what I'm saying, we got to make sure it's the right decision for our kids, what I'm saying. And I'm all about family. I feel like that's the one thing we can have to stick together is in your home, and I'm willing to fight for my wife. I'm willing to fight for my family, so I will do whatever it takes to, to build my family up. So my daughters, kids, one day, they could do, when my daughters get in relationships with their husband in the future, they could do the same thing with their family. So that's that's my little story.
What's up with you, Jeff? Go ahead, spill it.
Yeah. Me.
You in the polyamorous thing too, right? Boom. No, I just right.
Nah, but me and my wife, we've been married for this July coming up. It's gonna be 5 years. Yeah, we've been together 6 years. So when I met my wife, she had a daughter. She was 2. And now we just had our son. He's gonna turn 2 in June. I understood early on that I wanted to wait to have my wife before I have, kids and stuff like that. And that's what I did. And my father and my mother, they've been married for 31 years, and they set a good example. Like you guys said, they had their issues. I've seen them work through it, work it out. Sometimes it doesn't work out, but doesn't mean that, you and your partner that you married to and have a family with is gonna make their life a living hell. I do think that it's about the kids. Once you make that choice to be a parent, fuck your feelings, to be honest with you, and everything else. You have to make sure that your kids is growing up and they seen good examples from the mother and the father. With me mentioning, my wife with the person she was with before we met. My whole thing is to make sure that her father is also in her life. I make sure that she calls her father. We try to make it work with him as far as like him spending time, and whether he wanna be there or not. At least we know that we try our best to make sure that he has access. And we went through some issues, like most couples do, and we did therapy, and then that should help a whole lot, man. And me and my wife, what we make a deal with each other. To be honest with you, it's what it is. You got to make a deal. There's certain things that we had to talk about, hard conversations that we talked about. She understood my side, I understood her side, and we did therapy for 6 months, and still going strong.
Got to negotiate. That's the main thing. James said that a lot. A lot
Can
of
we?
people.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
No, you good. No, you good. Yeah, a lot of people know they don't really negotiate. We talked about this in our previous shows. Like everybody say, well, what you bring to the table? Well, the table is a negotiation table. You know what I'm saying? This is what I could bring. This is what I could give you. And hey, it's likewise. Tell me what you could bring and tell me what you give me. And we work with each other, you know.
And so, Janelle, I thought you were going to say something. And
I
I'll
just
come
Yeah,
need
go
off
to
ahead.
my
know.
after
I know
Jesse.
we talked about it earlier. I don't know if Big O was on the line or not, but could you enlighten us about the? I don't even know how to pronounce it. Is it the poly lifestyle? Could you
Polyamorous,
poly? Okay, could you enlighten us on
polygamy.
how that operates? Because I'm kind of like a little ignorant to it. If that makes sense.
I don't know if they want to do that on this show. Um, I
We
got
talked about it earlier, did we not,
Well,
y'all?
we actually, I'm gonna tell you, on our show, we talk about both. We talk about polyamory. We talk about polygamy. We talk about monogamy also.
Yeah.
So it's not, we're not opposed to any of the lifestyles. Like whatever. One of the things that I talked about earlier in the show was the building of a community through polyamory,
yeah.
through polygamy. So you can go ahead, bro.
Well, one thing I want to say is that it's just not a free for all.
Right.
It really is intentional relationships, and it takes a certain caliber of man. Not all men, I would suggest, do that or take part in that. However, it's always been necessary. I know that my relationships were built on real needs. So there's a need for something that you're trying to accomplish in life, and certain men just I got so much that I want to get done, man. So I want to just say that there are multiple loves and built on intentional relationships, not a free for all. And there's so many ways that you can structure your poly relationship because we got so many dynamics.
Yeah.
I'm more polygynous than anything, it's just me and it's gonna be multiple women. But I have to be intentional about how I interact and go about these relationships because it's a lot of risk. I'm managing a lot more than just time and money, man. There's a lot of emotions. There's a lot of family things going on, a lot of health things, and so you have to always be intentional about voluntarily programming yourself and being ready to be answers for things you may not know you need the answers for. But it definitely feels like more of a calling than more of a choice. However, I just think like monogamy is like one of the newest concepts ever, man, because
I
it
spoke.
always
Did I say that to y'all, fellas?
like
Yes,
to
you
me it's
Told
did.
just
you.
You
weird.
did. You did.
I did a show calling monogamy a lie, just like a social construct or something to me. But poly one is one thing that's very intentional, but men have always presided over multiple women. They just tend to lie about them in recent years, and that's been the problem. The lies. Most women know as long as they got they deal under control and they're not embarrassed or it doesn't affect their money. They tend not to even make a big deal about it because they know that it's not a choice, it's a necessity to have a partnership with somebody to get old together. I mean, medicine costs. Hell, having fallen in the tub and nobody around to check on you, like that matters when you get old. But if you're intentional about building your relationships on what matter, man, you should really focus on getting a deal out of life, man, with somebody. You want something, I want something. And as long as we getting these things and we don't hurt the business, then it should be okay. And who am I to tell somebody how to structure their business as long as it's successful? In order to
Absolutely.
do that, man, we gotta talk. And we gotta learn how to respect other people's perspective and know that this world, it didn't evolve to where it is today with an echo chamber.
So the reason I asked the question was not necessarily to hear the background of, but I appreciate that. And I really think that, you know, having, for the most part, the men answer the question and be vulnerable and expressing, what that history was, whether you were married, are not married, open enough to say that, you and your spouse, went to therapy to work through some things is, because I want to just get back to, you know, we were talking about Kevin Samuels, but how, for the two divorced or the three divorced brothers on the panel, how would you feel being called a leftover? Like you're well, and I guess the leftover might be the wrong terminology if I'm comparing it to what Kevin was saying about women being 35, et cetera, et cetera. But like for Black women to say, "Oh, you washed up, brother," because it's just like I'm going back to saying why Black women might have a problem with the things that Kevin was saying.
But let me
Is
answer that
because
question which you just said.
Yeah.
Let me
okay.
answer it. How would
Mm-hmm.
I feel if I was being called a leftover? I wouldn't have any feelings for it.
Right,
I
right.
won't
But
have any feelings because I won't be
Big
going
facts.
to a Kevin Samuels to get any answers about a relationship that I'm failing in. I would
well,
go
I didn't
to
mean for you to like really, really answer it. I
no,
didn't mean
I'm
it
just
in a
saying,
literal sense.
but I'm just saying that I'm speaking to the point of where he
Mm-hmm.
was going to when he called that woman a leftover, whatever. It's like this. It was kind of like what the information channel said when he said, "You're not supposed to be going to that man when you are lost and you're empty inside." He's not a therapist.
No, I understand, James. What I'm saying, James, is this: is I'm just trying to give y'all some insight into how or why some Black women might not be I don't want to say sympathetic, because I think most Black women are sympathetic regardless of what they thought about his views of his death. I'm personally sympathetic, you know and that's just the type of person that I am, but
Mhm.
his viewpoints were polarizing to a lot of Black women, which received him negatively because of his generalizing Black women's life experiences and diminishing them to, a small snippet on his show. And so you started the show off talking about how Black women received him. And then I was trying to make a point earlier before the young lady was speaking, in terms of what we see and hear on social media is about this I don't know, population of people somewhere that I really haven't seen, and maybe I'm just not in the right spaces
You talk about
on social.
polyamory?
No. About that there are literally people celebrating his death, and if
Yeah,
I
you just
haven't
ain't been
seen it.
you
What's
just ain't been
happening?
there then because it's there.
Well,
What's
well,
happening, sister, is
what
that
I
you have
have
people.
seen, what I
You
can I
have
just say what I have seen? What I have seen is that Black women have referenced some of the things that Kevin said and equated it or compared it to like his death. I don't know.
Go ahead, information man.
No, I was just going to say that a lot of it is on social media. So if you're not really a person that spends time on Twitter, Instagram, because he did have a very huge following on Instagram too, then you wouldn't know that there was a large number of black women.
Well, what I'm looking for is you're saying there are
hold on,
people out there.
I was trying to make
I'm sorry.
I'm trying to make a point here. If you're not in spaces like social media, Twitter, Instagram, and you're not heavily on there, then you would be oblivious to knowing that there were a number of black women who sort of was happy that he had passed. This wasn't a secret. It was all over some of the media outlets out there that talked about this. I'm not saying that it was right. I understand why black women felt the way they felt. I had just said earlier how Kevin Samuels in a soundbite show that he did, he said something that I thought was very terrible about the beauty of black women to the golden standard of Matrix, and then that standard was a European standard, and he quoted a psychologist that was reprimanded, and he was discredited for what he put out there. And so I brought that up, and I think that, along with other things, made some black women not very happy about his delivery. And once again, I'm going to say this because I really believe this is true from my vantage point. Well, again, in this country, we tell young men are being taught by their parents or their mother in society how you're supposed to treat women. Why do you think you got Valentine's Day? You know, if you really go into the history of what that means, right? Yeah, everything is really catered around for women. Tomorrow is Mother's Day, and I want to say happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. But however, Mother's Day is heavily celebrated, heavily put out there, and I love my mother, and we should all love mothers and celebrate them. But when Father's Day come around, do you see the vitriol around Father's Day as you do Mother's Day? No, they don't do the heavy marketing for it. Right? Because we grow up as men in a society recognizing that that you're supposed to treat women with kid gloves. And the fact of the matter is, Kevin Samuels did not have a delivery where he treated women with this kid gloves and say, okay, I understand. You can have it all, sister. If Kevin Samuels was doing the sister girl stuff and snapping his hands, y'all would have loved him. Because I see plenty of people on YouTube who be finger popping and praising sisters left and right. If Kevin, because everybody was claiming that he was gay, so if he was really moving like that and praising sisters, y'all would be the biggest biggest lovers of Kevin Samuels. But his message was polarizing. It didn't make you feel good because he was saying things that either you did not believe was true, or that maybe some of it was true and you didn't like the delivery and how he said it. And he became enemy number one. We got to get rid of Kevin Samuels. Because remember, everybody, there was a campaign to get rid of him off the. We haven't even talked about that. There was a large campaign.
There was a campaign to get rid of
him off.
Yep.
I wasn't aware of that.
And that campaign,
crazy.
That campaign was brought to you by, and I'm not demonizing black women for this. I understand why they did this. It was black women who fostered that campaign to get him off. And you had some guys out there too who joined in and wanted to get him off too. I personally think that a lot of dudes that didn't like Kevin Samuels is because as quiet as it's kept, everybody, he was cutting into people's money. He was cutting into people's views. I think quiet as it's kept. There's some people out there that ain't going to tell you that's kind of glad that he's not here anymore because they're thinking about their YouTube channel.
Somebody
and the views.
spoke on that yesterday. Yes.
There's a lot of guys out there that are doing videos talking about, I'm sorry about what happened to Kevin Samuels, but when he was alive, they were his biggest critics. They did videos about him.
And everything.
And there's people who made their YouTube channels off of Kevin Samuels. So now what are they going to do that he's no longer around for you to critique what he does? And don't get me wrong. I wasn't a big fan of Kevin Samuels. I didn't watch his shows all the time. I started watching it in the beginning when we were in the pandemic, and then I kind of stopped watching it because when I saw that he was also putting these Eurocentric talking points into his message. Those were talking points I heard before and didn't resonate with me anymore. And as a 52-year-old man, I just didn't need a dude like him giving me my talking points.
Well, can I ask you one other question? Sorry.
I got you, Sunshine. Hold on.
And I got to get off the panel, my brothers.
But before you go, I have a
Mr.
quick question for
Information.
you.
It was a pleasure talking with you.
Oh, pleasure talking to you. Go ahead, sister. I want to hear what you're saying, sister, son.
So the question I was going to ask you, when you first came on, you started with, it was almost as if there was some, I don't know, you were not very happy. You talked about how Kevin built his platform from other people.
Yes. No, let me, I'll quote it myself. What I was saying is, before Kevin Samuels became big, I knew Kevin Samuels before he got to where he got when he had like 100 people watching him on his channel, when he was critiquing men and talking to men a certain way, and nobody seemed to be concerned about how he was talking to men. And then eventually,
the same way at the beginning.
He was an image consultant,
and because he was an image, exactly, because of his image consulting background and his experience. What I'm trying to tell you is, during the early stages of his YouTube career, he was already developing this package that he was going to come up with that you all got presented with eventually, because he used to tell guys on live stream panels, hey man, you guys need to understand how to use TubeBuddy. You need to understand your analytics. You need to but people weren't listening to him.
It wasn't listening to
because he had something cooking in the kitchen that nobody recognized, and that's where he propelled himself during the time that we were in the pandemic and everybody was at home. That really helped him. Where I criticize him is just that I didn't like the statements around black women's beauty. I felt that went a little bit too far, because that was getting into the areas, in my opinion, of Eurocentric white supremacy that's been put on us for years about our beauty and how we look. And I just didn't like that. And he used a discredited psychologist's data for that. So I had a problem with that. Okay. But the reason why I said he was using people's talking points, because you got to understand, Kevin Samuels was very much a part of the black manosphere. Yep. He hung out with people like Angry Man. I know this because they had those panels every Saturday night. He was with BGS. He was with very well-known members of the manosphere at that time, and he was talking and learning from them and gathering data and information and refining what he already had in him in terms of how he looked at the world and how he looked at women. So, and this is a fact. There were guys, because I heard it on panels.
Yeah.
There were guys that were criticizing him, saying, hey, he using our talking points. Yep. Hey, that's what we be talking about. But see, what happened is, I think some guys were a little jealous because he was able to take what they were saying and package it into a real good a show that looks like something on television. And then he had the flowers and the lighting, and they didn't. And I think people were a little jealous of him because they were saying, well, I could do that, because I used to hear guys saying this. Oh, he ain't doing nothing but putting a little lighting. Hell, I can have candles. I can do that. Everybody was saying what they could have, but they didn't do it.
I can handle the ticking thing. And,
right. So everybody was critiquing him, saying what they could do, and it ain't no big deal. Oh, he using epidemic sounds for his music. But the bottom line is, you didn't do it.
You didn't do it.
And if you knew you could do all of that, then, and you had the information, why didn't you do it? So now you got mad at Kevin Samuels because he grabbed a bag and took those talking points and was able to make a successful show out of it. Now you hate on him. Like, come on now. So that's where I see, even though I wasn't a big fan of Kevin Samuels, I can see I'm balanced. I can see the hypocrisy on both sides of it. Yeah. But thank you for your time tonight, letting me speak my rhetoric.
Thank you, man.
Thank you. I'll be back over here. I'm subscribed to you with both my channels. I got a bunch of channels, but I'm subscribed with you with my main channel, Information Man Show, and then I have a content channel called Info Media Live, where I talk about how to build a YouTube channel and improve what you're doing and all that good stuff. Okay, I'm subscribed to you with both those channels.
Yeah, we got you.
So if you ever see me come in here with Info Media Live, it's me.
Okay, all right, absolutely. All right. Brother. I appreciate you, brother.
And Mr. O, man, keep telling
on?
telling that truth, speaking that
Already.
truth. You should come back and do an exclusive show based on the the lifestyle that you live, man,
The
to give
poly
people a better
lifestyle.
understanding.
I didn't want to
Yeah.
give too much on that because I didn't want to take away from what the topic, but
Right. Y'all
Hey,
have
we
a
wanna
good night,
subscribe.
man. I'm gonna listen
Yeah.
from afar. I'm just a little tired. Take
Okay,
care.
man. We about to wrap it up,
Yeah,
also,
so,
man.
yeah.
So
And
we
I put
definitely-
my link to my channel in the back page in the back private chat.
Okay,
If you want to
absolutely.
take that link and drop it in there, because I can't. Thank you.
I got you, brother.
Thank you. Thank
All
you.
All right now.
Peace.
God bless
All
you.
right.
All right now.
Oh yeah, we before we move on, right? We got some super chats. Shout out to Chris M. He sent $20. Say
Oh shit.
yeah, man. Shout out to him, man. He said great
sir.
conversation, and you know what I'm saying. Again, looking. Really, why am I still blocked? Well, still backstage. Look,
Yes,
We
he's
have you
back.
back
He's
on.
in the
we
We
have
comments.
you back
we
on.
getting ready to
we're
wrap
about
it
to
up.
wrap it up. But it's the thing, when you come on the show, like we want to hear everybody's point of views, but you gotta let people talk.
Yeah.
You can't be cutting people off. You can't be disrespectful, calling people dumbass and all this other stuff. So,
But we appreciate the donation.
yeah, we
though.
appreciate that
Most
donation.
definitely.
We appreciate you coming on the show. We be back hopefully next Saturday. So,
Yeah.
you want to come on the show and we have another conversation? We can.
And everybody that's in there, man, make sure that y'all subscribe, like, and share our shit.
Yeah.
And shit. We gonna do another show, man, because we were supposed to been doing the show on the Roe versus Wade tonight, also, man, before that. But I said we was gonna deal with that later. But I definitely want to be able to talk to you, Mr. O.
For sure.
I'm definitely gonna subscribe to your channel, man. But let everybody know where you at, who you are.
All right, Mr. O, I'm from Houston, man. I do a live show called Players Perspective on my channel. Mr. O is just living with my co-host, Big Hef, on all the platforms, TikTok, HAH Big Hef. But we on hiatus. We doing some working on some new content. He's out in LA right now doing some recording, and so we'll be back soon. Do some music battles, did some cooking, and we talk about some of these topics, but we try to give a player's perspective instead of all the arguing, man, because that's the only way that we gonna be able to get something done is we learn how to talk to one another, and that's my biggest thing. Kev started the conversation. It may be a little abrasive with his delivery, but I mean, he wasn't lying. He wasn't telling no lies. He just didn't like the delivery. But
Yes,
it
sir.
got us to talk, which now we can figure out how to have that conversation, man. So that's up to us to do that, to finish that. And hopefully we can get better outcomes, man. That's what I'm about. Lifestyle stuff, some game mixed in there. And
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
the H-Town way.
Yes, sir.
H-Town. Man,
I'm gonna get up out of here.
That's
I
the
appreciate
wrong
y'all
way.
having me, man. That's for sure.
Have a
Hey,
good night, Mr. O.
I need your information, Mr. O.
Okay, Mr. O is just living on. I tried to put it in there. I thought.
He'll look it up too. But Jeff, go ahead, let him know, bro.
Yeah.
What you got going on?
It's in the private chat.
Okay.
Can I ask y'all one last thing though?
Yes, you can. It's
Look at
Sunshine.
And I
All right.
appreciate you, Miss
Sunshine
Sunshine.
ain't playing
Thank
with
you.
us
Girl, man.
tonight.
This my homie.
All right. Well, I just want to ask y'all this last question, and everybody should answer this.
Okay.
Do you think anyone should attempt to fill the void that Kevin Samuels had with his platform? Not necessarily duplicating his show, but will there be a void anywhere? I hear a lot of people talking about, he created like a bad space, but I am one that doesn't subscribe to censorship. And even though I did not agree with his opinions, I feel like he did create a space for what it was that he was doing. So do you all think that there is a void now that
May
he
I
has
answer
left?
first?
Yes.
Go ahead,
Please.
Janelle.
Go ahead,
Go
Mr.
ahead.
Janelle.
Well, like I said in my previous introduction, I'm what he describes as a leftover, and I don't think it's over for me. So no, I don't describe to a lot of opinions that he gave off. I'm just end it like that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Let me answer it. When you say the void is there, do you? Let me be clear first. Are you saying that? Do you think that there should be a void, or do you think that there is a void that's going to be filled? That's
Well,
what you're asking us.
the way I look at it is that Kevin in this time was the only one doing what Kevin was doing. However you want to describe that, or however you think of what he was doing is.
No, I totally agree with what you say. And the way that he did it, the way he packaged it up, that was his shit. That's why it looked like it was. He took from a lot of other people and he packaged the shit up. I definitely understand that. So he did it his way, absolutely. But when it comes down to that void, no, I don't think that void is going to be filled from that standpoint. I think that people will be more. I think that people will be more aware because of his death. For some odd reason, death kind of make it opens up a line of communication for a lot of people. So I think that's going to happen. But if anybody, you're going to have a bunch of people trying to be Kevin Samuels. You already got them. They're going to be wearing suits. They're going to be suited and booted with with all the stuff on there. It's just not going to work the same way. So the whole thing is that the void will be filled, but not because solely of Kevin Samuels. He was just a vessel in this movement that we have going on right now for getting women and men together. It's a slow process, but that's really what the big thing is. Nuclear families. But you got to understand also, a lot of times you will see men like him talking through whoever it is that they're directly talking to, if that makes any sense. Their message is actually to resonate with the people that are looking with them, and they're using the person that they're actually talking to as an example. They're using that person as the person to be able to actually get the point across to the rest of the people. You hear most people say, I'm talking through you, not to you. And that's basically what it was. But as far as that void, I think it's just going to be people doing their own thing. That's pretty much trying to get to the same destination.
Well, all right.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Everybody share their information. Instagram.
Go ahead, Sunshine. Let people know.
We'll start with Sunshine.
Well, y'all could just find me on social media. James know where to find me at, but
I know where to get you. I'm gonna be stalking you now.
Quiet on the set.
He's silly.
Yeah, no, this was really a good time. I was just chilling in the crib. I wasn't doing anything, and I happened to run across your show like I do every Saturday. And
you made me happy.
You made me happy. Thank you.
And I'm a real person, but this was a good conversation. And at the end of the day, like I said in the beginning, my condolences go out to Kevin Samuel's family and those people who do have a real void by his absence.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Janelle. Oh, okay. Oh, Jeff, go ahead, brother.
Yeah, you guys can find me on social media. Me and my wife, we do got a podcast. It's called Gemini Talk Podcast. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, any other platform, where you can listen to music and all that. My personal page is Jeff_the Don. Jeff_the Don, man. And Kevin, I know in my personal opinion, Kevin has done a lot more, positive, negative, in my opinion. The ones who took, whatever positive information he was giving out and were able to apply it to their lives, good for them. And the one who didn't want to listen or who didn't agree, that's fine also. You know, you don't have to agree with anybody's point of view or advice or whatever. So, but I do think that we needed a Kevin right around these times.
Yeah.
Peace to the father. Amen.
Absolutely.
Conversation going.
Hey, we're gonna keep it going. We're gonna have more conversations like this. Everybody that's over here that still is on this channel, please go to our videos, like the videos, like this video specifically, and subscribe to our channel, man, because we got a lot of things in store for you guys. I love doing panels like this, man.
This is
It's
amazing.
pretty dope. It's pretty dope.
Yeah, man. Make sure y'all follow us on Instagram, what we know _podcast. You can follow me at thankful _Robert.
On IG, right?
Yeah, on Instagram. Yep.
On Instagram. Then you can follow me at DJ _ JIGTYTE. That's DJ _ Jig Tight on IG, and you can follow the other channel also that's on here too, DJ Jig Tight. But we had a good time, man. We gonna go ahead and wrap this up. Sunshine, I'm so happy that you came. You don't know, you made my day this time because I was like, she trolling.
Yeah, because I'm the producer now, right? I'm the producer.
You know, I know we've been knowing each other for a long time now. You done said something. Hey, we gonna talk. We definitely gonna talk.
Okay, all right. Y'all have a good night or morning, all whatever, right, wherever you at.
Absolutely. Jeff, don't forget, man, send me some of those pictures, bro, so I can, for the, what you call it? Because I know you was, I was like, God damn, you go. So send me those pictures, brother, okay? And then I'll talk to you offline also, bro.
Yeah, I'm gonna call you, bro. I'm gonna call you.
Good talking to y'all, man. Great conversation tonight.
Absolutely. All right, y'all. We signing out. It's your homeboy DJ Jig Tight.
It's your boy Rob, man.
And this is what we know.
What we know.